Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another edition of 13 Card Subject Change. Leroy, Jesse, Zach in the kitchen. We are doing the show very early this week. One, the Vikings aren't playing, and two...
4 o'clock.
4 o'clock. And two, I got to be somewhere soon, so I might be dipping out somewhere in the show. These guys will finish it up. Obviously, I have no issue with that. Very proud of both.
Wedding bells are in the air.
Yeah. If you hear coughing...
Dead man walking. You're welcome.
I'm not marrying a walrus, so anyway.
Well, that's true. And I got a bowl of spaghetti.
We got SpaghettiOs. We got pizza rolls cooking in the background. If you guys hear a ding, Leroy is making lunch for the kids.
Yes.
Little smoke in the kitchen, but hey, that happens.
Well, no, I had to pull the bottom pan that had grease on it.
Right, yeah.
So it's a clean one with nothing on, so it'll work better.
All right, so ladies and gentlemen, wow, was there a lot happening in wrestling this week.
Yes, sir, yes, sir.
But once again, not to start off with the ugly, but we are here to add context to this wrestling week because a lot of people say a lot of things that we need to... clarify, Jesse, if that may be, sir.
Yeah.
First and foremost, happy birthday to your wifey,
the beautiful Oscar.
40 years old today, wouldn't look a day over 20.
40 looks younger than me.
Oh, my God. She looks lovely.
Sexy as hell.
We wish her the best in her recovery as well.
I will take the physical abuse in the relationship. Don't mind. That's a perk.
You said you did send her a tweet.
I did send her a tweet.
She did respond.
She kind of responded with a thank you.
All right.
A general
some of
response.
it's in Japanese,
so
yeah.
So we're not there yet.
I have some translation to do, but
thanks, hon. I don't speak that language.
For those who, for those who can, just wish her a happy birthday. I'm sure she'll be back around the draft. So.
Yep. It wasn't a long-standing injury. It was just something that she had to get cleaned up.
It was something she needed to get worked on. I mean, she literally carried the Raw Women's division during the pandemic.
She did, yes.
With Bayley as well. So, and Sasha, got to give Sasha a lot of credit.
Yeah.
So, happy birthday to her. She looks great. She looks like she's getting fully healthy. I can't wait to see her back.
Yeah, well, and
especially to accept my wedding vows.
Exactly. Also, I can see it now. Your labor of Jesse that will have to happen is you have to last 2.5 minutes with Minoru Suzuki. Good luck, Jesse.
For her, I'll do it.
You might die, but all right.
I may not have a jaw anymore, but I will do it.
You don't need a jaw. So.
Exactly.
That's true. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, it finally happened. Jesse, in the shadows of your backyard,
Yes.
Arthur Ashe Stadium had the AEW Grand Slam show, and folks, I watched the whole thing. We have some nitpicking to do, but that's because it was obvious from the crowd.
Oh, yeah.
But great show.
Yes.
I was very happy for it. It was electric.
Yeah.
They did a really good job. I enjoyed it. First of all, Punk still cuts a great promo, really gets people going.
Of course.
I did think it was a bit much to sit there and say it's the first time since professional wrestling has been here in a long time. Vince has owned that city. He still owns that city.
I was about to say, you could say it because Vince calls his company a sports entertainment company.
Yeah, well,
As a wrestling fan, I get it. It's a little annoying, but it's like, okay, let's remember. They did go to Madison Square Garden the week before
and they sold it out.
And they pretty much sold it
out. Which was a great show,
and
by
had
the way.
a phenomenal show.
It was an awesome show. First of all, I think we are in a very rare time in wrestling in the sense that Roman Reigns is carrying the company. He's not just carrying SmackDown.
Oh, there's just the week he had.
Oh, my God.
I mean, I just...
That was nuts.
I'm like, damn, I got to acknowledge this motherfucker now.
By the way, Kenny, that's how you build a young talent. Kenny.
Yeah.
That's how it's done. I'm just going to get that out of the way.
Just saying, you don't squash them in a match. You give them an excellent match.
I don't think he understands that.
Portray themselves
no.
in a very strong light, even though they're going to have the tag team match tonight.
Montez was an absolute star on Friday.
He looked great.
Montez looked fantastic.
He looked great.
And
should we tell Eddie Kingston, even if he thinks AEW has New York, no, they might have a block.
Yeah,
that's about it.
They've earned the respect. They're earning respect in the East Coast, and that's huge.
Yeah,
and a big part of that is the fact that they also have some of the wrestlers that came up from there.
Yeah.
So it is kind of big, but it's still almost like they say about LA and the Lakers and the Clippers. That's still a WWE town.
Yes.
Oh, definitely.
It's a WWE
And I have
city.
no problem with you putting your stamp on that city, but
it
guys,
was a great show. They did a great job.
But guys, walk before you can run here, okay?
That's all I'm saying.
Also, hey, I hate to be that guy. This show, which they've been promoting forever, and it may be because they debuted everyone at the pay-per-view. We talked about the issue that come with that. Only 1.2.
Yeah.
Raw did a 1.7 and beat them in their demo. I never like to look at demos. I think that's a bit overrated.
Yeah.
But when you lose in the only two things you've been talking about since the day you debuted Dynamite, boys, oh boy.
And that was your big your big pay-per-view Dynamite show.
Yeah, basically.
By the way, back to back. Now, it looks like
Rampage was also a good show.
I think it looks like Rampage might have did $1 million for this first time, but like I said, it's very pay-per-view like.
Yeah.
So it should.
Yes. Yes.
But unfortunately for them,
1.7 on a Raw.
SmackDown, even on a lesser week, SmackDown took a 5% drop, still did 2.1.
Yeah. Now, I want to preface this by saying
I get it. Fox is in more homes.
Yes.
Regular Fox TV, but still, people can find you.
Yeah. I also want to point something out. I did say this after the show ended on Wednesday. I just want to point out, I loved those numbers overall for just wrestling.
Yes.
It's great that wrestling has that many viewers.
Yes.
Oh, God, yes. It is. I love it.
I agree with your statement that
5 people
when we can get back to steadily over 3 million, that's a great day for wrestling.
Yes.
And you mean 3 million in general?
Yeah.
Combination of all the shows together?
Well, I just mean like each show is always like if
Dynamite will eventually be over 3, Raw will be back over 3. SmackDown's damn near there.
SmackDown at that point, SmackDown will probably be at 6. So it feels like our hope is like kind of put into WWE's hands of like, can we get it to like. When's the first SmackDown show that's going to hit 3 million?
Can I just point this out? The draft is this Friday.
Yes.
And
that will give it a huge boost.
And what I'm super excited about is who is Paul going to get now?
Yeah.
Here's the deal. WWE does well with a challenge. Paul does excellent with challenges.
Oh, yeah.
And you're now going to take some people from him, but you're going to give him some newer people that he has to sort of write on the fly. And that's a great look for him.
I mean, it's a general statement, but it's a true statement that and it shouldn't be this way with WWE. I get the frustration with them sometimes.
Yeah.
But they do their absolute best booking when their back is against the wall.
Well, and the other thing about it is that I think what other people don't realize, I don't think Vince has been shaking in his boots at all, and here's why I say that. It's not that he doesn't see them as competition, even though he has said those words.
Well, the fact that he allowed Nick Khan to go out and then kind of retract his words and re-say that they are competition lets you know that he does see them as competition.
Well, but here's the thing that people have to understand. The difference is that when you've been doing it for 50 years, and Leroy, you watched a lot of the territory days, so you know. Yeah. So you know territories were competing. Kansas City competed with Carolina. Vince competed with Dusty. I mean, all that stuff happened. But here's the deal: the problem that we're now seeing, and this is where we're going to add context, especially to the Arthur Ashe Stadium show. They need to learn how to mic a room. They were a little too much echo for that show, at least in the first hour.
Yeah.
But new things, you'll figure it out.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, but here's the deal. Vince is still going to go forward with the show he's already written. I think AEW is group texting, changing this on the fly because they want to hot shot a number.
Right.
It's interesting because last night Marcus, and I told Marcus I was going to mention this today, so Marcus is all cool with this. Marcus even said last night, because he started long text chain in our group chat for the PWL, it's almost like he was quoting what we'd been saying, because the whole text chain was basically, they're hot-shotting guys, where's the homegrown talent, you're only here because former WWE guys are getting you numbers, they're going to run out of shit to do by December.
Pretty close,
and
too.
I think that, look, I'm not here to shit on what was ending up being a great show. New York obviously embraced it. We're going to go over the show here in a second.
Yeah.
But, folks, let's park the brakes in that while the live show was great, the crowd was into it, we all enjoyed it, you lost not one but both of your ratings war.
Yeah.
To Raw. Forget
Raw.
NXT, forget SmackDown, which you've never beaten.
That's not going to happen.
Technically, yes, they've never beaten Raw, but they've beaten Raw in one of those two
demographics. They did beat Raw once, yeah.
But here's the deal. They still haven't beaten Raw in both demographics both times.
No.
And this week they lost both of them by a slim margin. But these are the guys that would beat NXT by 100,000. And God, their Twitters wouldn't shut up about it. I mean, again, I don't want to bash this company, but you guys throw yourselves under a bus. I'm sorry, you do.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, no, I
Jesse's the one who said here and said one of these days we're going to start our watch along series. The first watch along might have to be rewatching the press conference for AEW.
Yeah.
Which,
we could do
boys,
that. Yeah.
you have not lived up to half of what you said, and that's just a fact.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I just watching Marcus's feed there in the PW. He does watch it a lot, and I want to thank him, and I also want to give a lovely shout out.
Yeah,
I got this at work. One of our regular guys, Jim, he comes in. He wanted a podcast to know about it, so he could listen to it. He's older.
Yep.
And he came in and told me, he really enjoys. He goes, you guys are sounding more professional every day, and you guys are doing great.
So he's not listening to our show. Got it.
No, he is listening to our show.
I mean, we do sound professional. We do go off. I know. I definitely go off.
Yeah,
but
that's the entertainment value in it.
You're going to later because I hate to say this, Jesse. I'm sorry. We have to bring up Uncle Dave again. We have.
But
to.
He said,
Uncle Dave has to be talked to
I don't
again
know.
here. But anyway,
but I do it.
By the way, the fact that I see that I'm starting to get myself quoted not only in the PWL but a few other wrestling things I'm in, I'm like, oh wow, this is kind of crazy.
Yeah,
he did said he was entertained and enjoying the show. So I want to thank Jim and everybody else that is listening to us. We appreciate it.
Yeah, thank
you.
Yep. To all the listeners, thank you guys.
Yeah,
seriously.
Got to make sure we got to do that once in a while. So.
Yep.
Oh, for sure.
Yep.
All right.
But anyway, so let's get right into it. Jesse, the opening match of Arthur Ashe Stadium's first ever wrestling match. Thoughts?
So listen,
just jump right into thoughts.
Listen, if we would have kind of figured out, if we would have kind of did a predictions,
yes,
I would have told you. Me and you probably would have agreed, Zach. Yeah. We would have probably told you this is going to be probably a time limit draw thing, because there's no way in hell you're allowing Bryan Danielson to lose. But you're booking yourself into a corner because
so
you
Kenny
said
can't lose.
Because you said you don't want to be WWE, and one thing they do besides Roman is sometimes they pin their champions. They're willing to do it.
Yeah.
Especially even if the story doesn't work.
The other
they're
thing
willing
about
to
it
do
is, and this is honestly what I feel. And I'm not saying this is because of his family connection. I think Roman has stepped into the role of being the guy, and he takes it seriously. I think if they ever get to a point where they're booking him in a corner, I feel like he says, "Hold on," and then he stands up and says
Well, he's
something.
got a lot of backstage
Yes.
So, and here's the thing.
And Paul knows that you have to give that to the guy.
And Vince listens to him, so that's how you know he's got a lot of backstage say.
But
overall, I thought this was
did you watch it, Leroy? Kenny versus Bryan?
I did.
Okay.
I said, my feeling about this still is the same. Why did they do it now?
We'll get to that in a second.
Yeah,
why?
Get to that.
I mean, they could have.
We'll get to that in a second. Hold on. We'll get to that in a second.
I understand. I understand.
Yeah.
Here's the only statement I have about the wrestling stuff, and then we'll get back to you, Jesse.
Yeah.
The American Dragon was calling this match. End of.
If he's about to say, if he's not, this is not a good match. Listen, Bryan Danielson has always been one of the best technical wrestlers on the planet.
He was a guy who realized the only way I was going to get over in this business is I had to figure out how to entertain physically, because he's a slightly boring human being, which he has no problem.
But that's okay. Yeah, I'm about to say
he is. No,
he's got no problem. He jokes about it all the time.
Yeah.
Like. But, he's one of the best guys in the business.
He's the most dad in wrestling.
He really is.
He really is.
But he's
Damn,
also...
he has a hot wife.
He's also one of the guys in pro wrestling, though, that understands there is a way to always incorporate different styles, and still the whole point of wrestling, which, by the way, this was a smart quote from a wrestler recently, is to tell a story.
We'll get to her in a little bit. But no.
She wasn't wrong, and I don't believe she was taking a shot at him.
No. Well, but here's the deal. Again, people need to understand something. The Khans versus Nick Khan and Vince is not WWE locker room versus AEW locker room. That's not a thing. Adam Cole recently said on Jericho's show, he still texts Shawn all the time.
Yeah.
Adam Cole and Chris Jericho both said Shawn Michaels can be attributed to figuring out
Adam
this stuff.
Adam Cole literally just recently said, he was like, the hardest thing about leaving WWE was the fact that we were going to end up, down, down. Because they were hoping to continue it.
Yeah.
And WWE was trying to give him certain things like, there's probably certain ways we could try to do it. You might have to use your real name, which I think Adam Cole actually is.
I'm pretty sure Adam Cole is.
But, I think some people have said it's not. But,
Google it.
Or
Wikipedia is.
but they couldn't because WWE
Wrestling Wikipedia tends to be pretty accurate.
Yeah, they
Yes, it
tend
is,
to be
yes.
mostly pretty accurate.
Austin Jenkins.
Okay, so but the problem is, guess what?
If I were Adam Cole, I would just legally change that because guess what? It sounds like a real name, and
Jenkins.
No, Adam Cole. It
Well,
sounds
yeah,
like a real
Adam-
name.
yeah,
You might as
well,
well
that
just
is
change
real.
it to that.
But
it
here's
is
the
what it
thing:
is.
Austin is also Xavier Woods.
Yes, exactly.
So I think the fact that also Xavier is also getting ready to do that G1 show and stuff like
Yeah.
that, they just decided, you know what, that's okay.
It is
and,
what
and
it
now
is.
actually Prince Pretty kind of works with both of them, but
Yeah.
mostly he works with Adam Cole now
Yeah.
on Twitch as well.
Yeah.
So he's actually been so positive about WWE,
Which is weird because it's like that's the guy that Uncle Dave was reporting had some of the worst interactions with Vince.
And he literally said, he's like, first of all, my interactions with Vince were great. My interactions with a lot of the people backstage.
And hard to believe that Vince could be, quote, complimentary of a short guy. But, wow.
The guy is literally, he's not, but the talent says he could be Shawn Michaels of this generation, the new AJ style. Yeah, technically AJ's only 6 years older than him, but.
Right, yeah.
But still. And so, of course, Vince wanted him to stay, but we all understand that he wanted to go work with his friends.
Right.
No problem.
But the other thing about it is everyone's sitting here saying, oh, Adam left because they wanted him to talk for a while. Who gives a shit if they wanted him to talk for a year?
By the way,
he
wasn't
can do
true.
it.
Wasn't even true.
Yeah, exactly. But here's the deal. Here's the
And
deal.
you
Let's
know
say it
what?
was-
Somebody came out and said it again. He left because no, we already killed that one, but they wanted to bring out again.
Forget us. We killed it before it happened because we hate speculating here.
Right.
But like Adam Cole himself said, and I fucking quote,
And Keith Lee.
and Keith Lee,
Keith
we
Lee joked about it.
we had no idea what anyone. And by the way, Bruce sometimes will say things and it gets out,
Yeah.
but that doesn't mean that everybody thinks that Vince just listens to Bruce. No.
He is one of their top guys.
Yeah.
And so he does carry a lot of weight with Vince.
Yeah.
Which I hate.
Yes. but here's the deal.
Just like
Jesse,
John Laurinaitis, I'm like, I
Yeah.
don't know why we still
Jesse-
have him in a position of power there.
Jesse, however, has also said this on the show numerous
True.
times. Everything goes through one man. Every
Vincent
decision is still approved
Kennedy
by
McMahon.
one man.
Yeah.
That's it.
Somebody
so,
Vince, what's this? That sounds like crap. We're not going to do that.
back to the match. First of all, Bryan Danielson was calling it.
Mm-hmm.
There's no way Kenny was in charge
No.
and by the way,
That's
back.
the best Kenny's looked since he's been in AEW.
I said that to multiple people. Go check my timelines.
Yeah.
Go check my messages. I said it to
I do
Corey,
agree.
Eric, you. I said it to everybody. This is the best Kenny's looked since he's been to America.
Yeah.
Since going back to Japan.
Yeah.
But anyway, no, this is the best Kenny's looked. I liked it. My biggest thing about it is that if you're going to do a time draw and then you're going to have the afterbirth, why didn't it close the show? The super click kick didn't make sense at the start of the show.
That's
That
true.
was my only issue. The time limit draw and then people pulling them apart after. No problem.
No issue there.
But the Young Bucks had to get involved.
As Gene has said in the lounge, it's fine to do a time draw, but to do one, WWE would have to acknowledge it. So as long as, but again, consistency. AEW acknowledges it, so they do it.
True,
It's fine.
true.
New Japan does it once in a
Yeah.
while, but they acknowledge it. Vince
Yeah.
doesn't acknowledge it. He doesn't worry
He doesn't
about
do
it.
time limit draws, yeah.
Yeah, move on.
No.
But back to your point. The Bucks
Just have to get involved in something.
You know what's sad?
It's the first part of the show. Of course they got to be around.
No, forget that. That wasn't even the most egregious appearance they had all week.
No, it wasn't, unfortunately.
What the hell were they doing on the Chris Kanyon episode of Dark Side of the Ring? What was the point of that? To sit there and take a shot at WWE for a segment they probably laughed at because nobody was behind the curtain at that point.
Right.
Look,
Were they friends with Chris Kanyon?
So, yeah, Chris Kanyon actually helped to train them.
Yeah, but my point
okay.
is this,
All right.
Jesse. We all
God rest
saw
his
that
soul.
segment with Taker.
Yeah.
No one thought anything of it then. Don't act like you're Christian now.
See, the only person
No
that...
offense to you, Leroy, but obviously these guys are very conservative Christians. Don't act like when you were kids you didn't laugh at it. Don't
Right.
try to be religious now, but don't be religious
Right.
on this day of the
Well,
week.
here's
That's
the
all
thing.
I'm saying.
I
The only
agree with
person I
that.
ever
Yeah.
believed that they didn't like when that happened completely was James Mitchell.
Yes.
because he was his closest confidant.
Yes, exactly.
So like I said, to me when I'm watching the end of this match, I'm like, why do they even need to be involved?
I get why Chris was there because he hosts the damn show.
Yes.
But why are you guys commenting on a career that you had nothing to do with? I don't care if he trained you. And by the way, I also want to make clear, because we're going to knock something else out here. You want to cancel John Cena over a statement he made on a radio show that was 100% factual. I loved Chris Canyon's in-ring work. Bro, couldn't talk. I'm sorry. Jesse, am I wrong?
No, he wasn't the best talker at all. No.
But see, folks, here's the deal. Just because
his in-ring ability was phenomenal,
Yes.
though. Listen, what John said back then was it asshole-ish? Yes, but he was just becoming kind of a leader of the locker room.
Well, but
guy.
John also is that guy who
It
is
was
going
his
to be
opinion.
honest. John is also just
and you
Yeah.
just
It
nailed
was his
Reed.
honest opinion.
It was
and
his honest at the time.
Ric
Yes.
Flair had the same comment where he didn't think he was good enough.
yeah.
No,
I mean,
Rick didn't think DDP was good enough.
A
back
lot of
in the
people
day.
didn't think that because
No.
DDP got in the ring a little late, but
yeah, my age, and
but-
he's jumping in the
but,
ring.
But my point is that DDP figured out how to be a star.
Yeah.
Ric Flair figured out how to be a character. Ladies and gentlemen, Canyon never got to that point where you're sitting there saying he's going to enter. I hate to say it, but people want to say sports entertainment is solely Vince. It's not. It's been this business since day one. It's just it used to be a more athletic contest.
Right.
But when Vince got a chance
It
to do
used
what
to
he
be more sports-based. back in the
exactly.
day.
But the thing about it is that if Canyon didn't, and again, I know Chris had his demons and his issues backstage, but John also wasn't incorrect that Chris didn't come out until he got fired.
Right.
So it's not like they fired him for it or they punished him for it.
Right.
They don't. Vince is a businessman. We talked about this. He doesn't care about race, skin color, nothing, none of that. If First of all, if Vince was a racist, Rock would have never become The Rock. And Dwayne said a million times, I don't have the life that I have if Vince didn't put me on television.
And like I said, that segment with The Undertaker back then, yeah, when you look back on it, it's like, man, that looks pretty damn bad.
But it wasn't bad then.
But back then, you just thought,
This
is a comedy character that they've always booked
Yeah.
as a comedy character, whether it was great or not,
Yeah.
and then maybe Vince should have never did that.
To quote JBL in the Brothers of Destruction versus MVP and Mr. Kennedy, if anything, Kane and Undertaker got rid of Canyon and DDP, and for that, the wrestling world owes them eternal gratitude. But JBL was just healing it up at that point. But
yeah, it's like I said.
why were they there? What was the point of any of that?
Said, because I get why they were there. It was the same reason Brian Cage was there, because he was a student of theirs. And that's.
But they shouldn't
and I
be
have no
commenting
problem.
on something they had nothing to do with.
But that show gets everyone's opinion. So to give
Yeah.
Dark Side of the Ring a lot of credit, even if we feel that way, they just actually get everyone's thoughts and stories.
Well, but we're
on
never
that.
mad at the guys at Dark Side of the Ring because they've never presented anything in a way.
By the way, on a side note, Rick, shut the hell up.
Yeah.
Stop tweeting. Stop talking.
Stop.
Shut up.
Let your lawyers handle this. Let everything be handled behind the scenes.
Or just do what smart rich people usually do when they're in hot heat. Just stay quiet for a couple months. It's okay.
Has
Yes,
Jeff
it is
Bezos
okay.
ever talked about the mistreatment of Amazon employees? He's never said a word.
Nope.
And he's still worth $148 billion.
Nope.
So
Sometimes just shutting the hell up
God,
is the
it
best thing
hurts.
you can do.
But anyway, my point is this.
Sometimes your heroes are just disappointing, aren't they?
Yeah.
I think they're disappointing when they are overreacting, not if they underreact. That's my opinion. But
Back to the other stuff.
But here's the thing. This is my problem with cancel culture. You can't cancel two things. One,
you can't cancel John Cena for that anyway because he's too much in the zeitgeist.
right. Yeah, but here's the deal. Two, number one, you can't cancel people's opinions unless they're totally out in left field, which John's was not.
No.
And you also can't cancel something that already freaking happened. There's evidence of it. There's video. This shit happened. And by the way, to what Jim Cornette's been trying to explain to people for the last 2 years of AEW, it's about how you've been presented on the overall and why certain guys weren't as big in WWE, but they're big in AEW. Chris Canyon was never more than a comedy act.
Yeah. They never booked him as more than that either.
And that's not
No.
Chris's fault. That's
No.
not Vince's fault. That's just what everyone came to an agreement on. And look, I get it. Chris had a lot of demons, a lot of issues, and it's a very sad story
It really
for
was.
a very talented guy.
Yeah.
But when I say talented, guess what? he could go in the ring and he could give you a good 20 minutes if you had to fill the show. But if I wanted him to talk for 5, I wouldn't get 2 minutes out of him before the other guy had to take over. I'm sorry. The best part about Rock and Stone Cold, I hate to say it, wasn't even the matches. It was the fact that verbally they went back and forth, and that was as good as any of their matches.
Those two
Oh,
cut
God,
promos.
yes. Oh, my God.
Those
But,
two
you know,
are two of the best promo cutters of all time.
And I agree with you. I enjoyed watching
Canyon
in the ring, and when he was WCW, that's where I saw him a lot.
Yeah.
Back in the day. And
well, but
I loved
WCW was
it.
always trying to be what AEW is now. They were trying to have a few more sports based, but then the NWO came in. That was where they went because that's what was getting them ratings. But then that obviously fell apart because you had way too many people in charge, and nobody was doing the right thing. And then and then of course we remember when Ole Anderson took over the booking of the NWO, and it was like, well, this just went down the tubes.
Or we won't even get to that because then it gets
back
worse.
to Japan with the NWO.
I'm about to say it gets even worse when it comes to then Vince Russo taking it over. But
oh God.
To kind of move off of the John Cena thing, guys, you can't cancel a guy who said yes. It was very asshole-ish, but it's not like it was based on his like. It was literally John Cena going like.
I think it was the delivery. Where,
like I said, the delivery sounded insanely asshole-ish.
Yeah,
but when that was 2005.
Yeah.
Okay. If you ask John Cena, especially knowing everything that happened,
I'm
getting
suspended from Facebook for shit I posted like 8 years ago, and I'm not even the one who originally posted it. I'm just sharing it from a friend, but I'm the one getting like a 30-day ban from certain things for shit that happened 8 years ago. You can't go back and fix the problem.
Well, here's the thing too.
Not that there's a problem. I'm just saying you can't.
No, there isn't a problem.
To me, John Cena has already proven his worth as a human being.
Yes.
Because all the shit he does for sick kids, all the shit he does for families in need, the guy's not a bad guy, people.
And by the way, folks,
we're not doing that to John Cena.
And by the way, folks, some of your favorite wrestlers, they don't do Make-A-Wish because that's not their thing.
Yeah.
They don't, like, my mom always said this, still says this. You shouldn't have to ask someone to be charitable. It has to come from their heart. They have to want to be charitable.
Right.
And John wants to be charitable to the kids. Other people, look, having been someone that was almost in a Make-A-Wish kid situation when I was little, folks, it's not easy, and it takes a very unique personality to spend a day with a kid and realize that five months later that kid's gone.
Right.
That for me, I could do it. But it would hurt.
Oh,
which by the way,
think about how many times.
I think it was one of the big reasons why he told Nikki Bella, like, I don't want kids. I think doing all that work all the time made him not want kids.
It take a lot out on him.
Can you imagine? And again, I'm not putting words in his mouth. I don't want to talk about things that may never happen. But can you imagine, John, how many times, when you think about the many wishes he's granted, how many times he probably got a text message saying that this child finally passed? Can you imagine how many hours he's spent alone just trying to fathom the day he had and that
probably
kid?
I don't know why I was about to do that, but probably absolutely heartbroken for you guys who are, you guys are just listening. I almost threw my water bottle away when I technically need it.
Yeah. They have water next to him.
Right, I have water right next to me.
You can't drink out of that. You gotta put it
right. But yeah,
well, he could.
To kind of, I'll say this, and then we can kind of go back to AEW.
Yeah.
Guys, you got to let the John Cena thing go. I get it. It was an asshole-ish thing. This episode was heartbreaking.
Oh, so
but it's still not as bad as what we had to watch last week.
And by the way, last week still isn't even half of as bad as Grizzly Smith.
No.
Yeah.
Oh my God. No. See they're gonna get into more stories from back in those times when you were a kid watching, Leroy.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Some of those stories are gonna be tragic if you're a fan of a lot of those wrestlers.
I said it then. I've had a long time to process, but I'll say it exactly as I said it after the show aired. That is an episode I have watched for journalistic purposes and will never watch again. I have no interest to go back to Grizzly Smith.
I've seen it twice so we could talk about it. I'll never watch it a third time.
Nope.
So
I could. Here's the problem. I remember the episode almost word for word so vividly. I can't do it again.
It's hard.
Yeah, I can't do it.
And you know, people want to cancel. I'm surprised they don't want to cancel us for what we've said about people.
I can't believe they haven't tried to cancel for the slave reference I made one time, but Jesse said it actually did work. So
in that sense, it worked. Well, and then after what was an excellent start to the match, I believe this was the CM Punk.
I have one question before we get past this match, because I texted you and a bunch of people because it was eyesore to me, but as now I can officially say experienced ring guy because I can do it, because all the rings are set up virtually the same way. From here to WWE, it's all basically the same setup.
It's almost all the same.
So Jesse, the ropes are looser in CZW and Gorilla, correct?
They used to be. I don't know if they are anymore, but they used to be.
Because the ropes just seemed way too bouncy. I know it's a talent's decision, but it just seemed like
By the way,
weird.
that's so when the ropes are a little more bouncy, as you were explained to once when we were down at MAW. It's for because the wrestlers have told you it's for them to do a lot of the springboard stuff.
If you ever agree out there, if you're a listener and you go to a local show and you agree to do ring crew, get the ropes up, but then make sure you find talent to figure out if the ropes are good. Because the talent are the ones who have to use the ropes. And obviously, I do that because I've listened to Mick's story, and I never want to be responsible for a simple mishap in that I didn't check with the talent.
Right.
What do you need? What this and that. But back to what you were saying.
And hell, I mean, back in the day, WWF crews actually used to adjust the ring because different wrestlers liked a different one.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's just one of those.
Well,
deals.
it's not too difficult to do.
No,
to
it's
adjust
not.
between two matches, anyways. I mean,
in between
we've done
matches,
that.
you can always go tighten more for the like if it's a heavyweight act.
Yeah.
That's like I want them all kind of sturdy.
But you were saying that PWG tends to have that. So
yeah, back then
they wrestled in PWG, Kenny and Brian.
And it tended to be a bit more springy, but that's because a lot of those guys were high flyers and like the springboard stuff like that.
Yeah.
So they needed a little bit more loose things of that nature, and that's which was fine.
And it's a common misconception: the tighter the ropes, the actual harder it is to propel off of.
Yes.
Part of your momentum comes from the rope.
Yes. So which is why if you got two giant dudes in there that aren't planning on doing any of that kind of stuff,
you tighten it up.
You can make it stiff.
Hey, let's tighten it up before this match.
But see, that was just an eyesore to me. But again, it's me overthinking because now that I've done a ring so many times, I can't not think about the ring.
That is true.
These guys at DPW. I was shitting my pants over the ring we put together because I was in charge of it. But anyway,
so so watching AEW and watching some of those matches, I'm like, you know what? There's a lot of small guys in this.
It was
company.
also so sad, the afterbirth, because once again, folks, Adam Cole is just a guy now. And I can't believe I'm saying that, but Adam Cole's just a guy.
For now, he's just a guy. I think it will build to them turning on Kenny.
Yes.
Kenny's eventual turn back to a babyface because Adam Cole's going to probably end up being the guy that kicks him out of the Elite.
Oh, I can't wait for Kenny, the babyface Omega, all over again because it was so good the first time.
I know. Well, you would hope it'd be better the second time. I digress.
If he gets away from the Bucks, maybe.
Sometimes,
maybe.
As you know, sometimes if it's not good the first time, you don't do it again.
And sometimes you try it one more time.
Yeah, why not?
Unfortunately, yes.
Sometimes you're like, let me give this one more shot.
From there, Punk, great promo.
Punk and Hobbs. Well, first off, Punk has always been one of the great promos of all time.
Yeah.
Even when he was ROH, and he was a heel. People forget that he was actually a heel.
One of the I think you said one of the first heels in ROH that they just had no choice but to cheer for because, well,
the guy on the mic he's just phenomenal.
Yeah.
But I think to me the real star, and by the way, kudos to Punk.
Oh yeah.
The real star is Will Hobbs.
Oh God, that Rampage match.
The match
on Rampage.
He looks like a stud.
Yes.
Like he looks like a guy who should be challenging for the heavyweight champion at some point soon. He looks like a stud.
And we talked about
the first time I seen it was against.
He gets being a heel. He's learned how to be a heel.
And also, big ups to Brian Cage. And maybe Brian's frustrations have made him wrestle a little differently recently, but it's one of those things where like Will is just like he gets this thing.
Will is a super talent. Do I think Will's in the right place for the fact that he's 13 years in the business and he's still a little green? Maybe not. Maybe the Nightmare Factory can help him out with that a little bit.
So I know he still works a lot with Dustin.
He needs reps. Is basically all I'm saying.
He just needs more reps because he has to continue to wrestle like a big strong guy.
Yes,
that's it. Because he can do the suplexes easily.
Damian Priest can flip and fly.
Yeah,
but Damian Priest.
Damian Priest is like up here athlete.
Yes,
though.
But Damian Priest knows, okay, the foot on the rope flip save it for a pay-per-view,
Yeah.
not a random Raw.
Yeah, you save it for big matches.
Exactly. Because here's the deal. If that's the last time you ever do that move, at least it was a pay-per-view, not a random Raw.
Right.
So at least you could say you went out.
But Will Hobbs, man, I'm like,
Hobbs, I love you.
dude, he got New York City to start chanting for him in a match with CM Punk. Half the crowd started chanting for Will Hobbs to continue to destroy CM Punk.
Yep.
The kid is a stud. Listen. Tony always speaks highly of him. And like I said, I'm more focused on Will at this moment just because, I'll be honest, because he's a black wrestler, so I like to see his shine.
Yeah.
Just like anytime I see Dante Martin on TV, I'm like, yes, give this kid some more shine.
Dante Martin has actually been name-dropped by Bryan Danielson in the last couple of weeks. That's impressive.
I feel bad for his brother because I'm like, are they going to let the tag team get back together? Because Dante's getting a lot of shine right now.
Well, he's getting named out from Jim.
Yeah.
Too.
Yep.
Jim Cornette.
Jim likes him a lot.
Yeah.
Especially for, Jim's not big into the high-flying guys, but he's like, yo, this kid gets how to be a babyface.
He just thinks that he's green, but he is green.
He is green.
He's a kid.
He's a kid.
He's a literal kid.
The last time I heard the comment from him is he's green, and he's add a little bit more to him.
Yeah, but I mean, he can work a babyface style, Dante. Like you feel sympathetic for him when he's in a match.
So,
but I will say this: what stinks about Will Hobbs losing this match is that there is no. Here's the messed up part: there is no guarantee Ricky Starks is coming back.
Yeah,
which breaks my heart.
It is nice that he's on.
He's
Rampage
great at it
because he's great on the mic.
He's great on the mic. By the way, he's only 34 years old. If his career's over, that sucks.
That's a very sad.
But that's the only episode of that stupid ass Roads to the Top show that I'm actually going to watch because I would actually like to know how bad that neck injury is. And apparently they discussed it on this show.
I actually, from the commercials, I hate to say it, the commercials are actually, it's almost like we wrote the script for the show. just based on, I don't know, Leroy, I don't know if you've seen the commercials for the new reality show
Roads to the Top,
but you watch it and I get they want to come off honest and they don't want to come off as fun-loving as Maurice and Miz, but that's just who Maurice and Miz are.
Right.
Is again, I still think that there's more reality in that. I just think it's interesting because it's a very somber atmosphere in their commercials. It's a very tight, very tense atmosphere. And I know that, producers want to do that, editors want to do that to sell the product, but Jesse, it seems to me backstage, you and I are both right.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people.
There's a lot of tension in that show.
People are not happy that Cody's in that role.
I saw a commercial for that when I was watching SmackDown on Friday.
You can buy advertising anywhere you want if it's Hulu.
I was like, what?
Right.
I'm like, whoa.
Well,
I was a little surprised.
Well, because I heard about the backstage, the actual heat between Jade and Red Velvet.
Yeah.
But to see the argument in the slap, I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
And then to hear the fact that you could the EVPs don't get along, but Cody has Tony's ear for the most part.
Oh yeah.
I'm very interested to see. Not like I said, I'm not going to watch every episode because some of it's like Brandy's family. Don't care.
Yeah.
I don't watch Miz. I don't watch
Miz
because I don't care about that.
Yeah. Same.
Enjoy your family, whatever. I always think it's a personal terrible idea to put your kids on national TV like that.
They're also young right now.
Yeah.
So, and the thing about it is that it's clear from the show, and that's why I'm actually surprised that it does the ratings that it does, Miz and Mrs. I've learned that show, it's almost boring because that's literally what they do. We all know the Kardashians is about as scripted as anything you're going to find on friggin' any show.
I'm not even going to talk about them.
Yeah,
I'm over them.
So it's like
I haven't wanted to have sex with any of them since 2009. Which, by the way, I got to take the youngest sister out because she would have been 8 back then. So I'm not talking about her, people.
That's
I am
fair.
not a pedophile.
No, that's fair.
But the other 2 sisters have not interested me since 2009. So I just don't care.
Yeah,
and they were all right. I really didn't
But my
care.
point is this: Miz and Mrs.
Kim used to be hot. She used to be.
Yeah.
Miz and Mrs. as stupid as they look, I feel like that's them. I feel like that's literally just.
I think that's just them.
That's their daily life.
That's just who they are.
But then compare that to what I've seen so far from Brandy and Cody. I think what's going to be really interesting, and all the AEW fanboys are going to try to brush it under the rug as oh, it's reality TV. You know, you can't always believe it. Guys, I'm going to say it again. That show's going to expose a lot of what you want to hide.
I think that show's about to show us a lot of the tension backstage. After all the reports, I mean, listen, people really like being there. Apparently, there's a lot of frustration in that company.
Here's the deal. It's clear that behind the scenes,
right,
all the stuff we have always talked about,
right,
all the stuff that we have always said that we're like, hey, Jesse, this has to be going on.
Right.
It's happening.
It looks like it might be actually
And what's
going
even
on.
stranger, they're telling us.
Right.
They're telling us. They're exposing their own business.
It's so odd that they're actually
Vince, you know as well as I do,
Yeah.
is covering up everything that's caught on WWE backstage camera doesn't make it to air. You know that as well as I do. Everyone knows Vince is on that button
way.
saying no. But Jesse, all the stuff that you've put out on what you talked about on Reddit, all the stuff they ripped on, because you're no longer on Reddit because it got to be too much. Reddit's a very interesting place to be. But no, you have sat there and said all of the stuff that you read, all of the stuff that you've done, it's all coming out. They're telling us. And you're right.
Yeah.
You've been vindicated on people you've never met who ripped on you, and it's like you were only stating what was clearly being.
Because I have a couple other pages I go to that it's anonymous insiders who are in these companies. And I don't like to give away the sites because people will be like, well, this is all nonsense.
Yeah.
So when it comes out and it turns out to be true, even before Fightful and all them reported, I'm like, man, this site it might be actual insiders.
Yeah.
It all seems to keep happening. This show, like I said, I'm not going to watch all of it.
No.
But the trailer is definitely interesting.
You want to see the Ricky Starks situation.
I want to, because that's just heartbreaking, because I'm like, he's only 34 years old.
And what's interesting is that Vince will tend to shy away from injury spots being in promos.
Yeah. Unless it meshes well with the story.
One of the actual promos for Roads to the Top is Ricky landing on his neck.
Yeah.
That's an actual spot.
Because
if anything, you're
Cody,
reminding people what happened.
Right, because Cody and the trainer, they're forced to tell him, yeah, dude, you're done wrestling for a while. And he just, the heartbreak on his face, that's crazy.
I'm debating. I might watch it just to see if she can actually do it in real life, because we all know on camera she's awful. Brandy, quote-unquote, disciplining Jade Cargill might be an interesting watch.
Yes.
But the problem to me is, and we'll get to that later because Cody and Brandy, surprisingly, are both in the show. We'll get to that abomination in a minute. But back to the show.
I'm about to say, right result.
Yeah.
What the hell was that?
Back to the results. We all agree.
I didn't watch it, but I heard about it.
We all agree.
Yeah.
We all agree. Time limit draw. You backed yourselves into a corner here, boys, especially with the fact of the afterbirth means it should have been at the end. We'll get to that in a little bit.
Sure.
The best part about the show for me, and I'm serious, was only 9 minutes, and they straight up left it alone because nobody in the Elite or the VVPs cared. MJF and Brian Pillman Jr., boys, take a bow in New York City.
Right.
Y'all showed up. This was great.
Right, no.
And for those of you who sit there and what are you talking about? I'm like, guys, MJF might be in this company, but he is Vince's golden boy.
Here's
soon.
what else.
I'm
about to say.
God,
I want to say this about MJF before I let you go, Leroy. You guys might lose him. He's only 24. He knows there's more money on the other side.
and for somebody who's already shown that at 24, ladies and gentlemen, Vince may come offer an Adam Cole money, and I'm serious.
Oh, yeah.
Because remember, Adam Cole's 34 in that range, so there's not as many years out of him. But if a 25-year-old can already do that, and we can get that, Vince will look at seven figures and be like, I can make.
I think it would be very interesting to
year off this
see.
kid.
I think for me, I want people to follow this. If I'm right, I'm right. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong.
Yeah.
The development of Parker Bordeaux, to me, will depend on how quickly they offer a contract to MJF, WWE.
Yes.
Because I think they would also want to put him with a big guy because his mic skills. I mean, his in-ring skills are phenomenal for 24.
Oh yeah.
But his mic skills are so good Vince is gonna be like, "Yo, the kid can make a town hate him like this."
Yep.
And I got a big guy who I can.
And
have
by the
bully
way, for all you
him.
people out there, I really hate to say it, but everybody was on our asses, on everyone else's asses, and Vince's ass for the whole Selena Vega in New York City thing. So you guys just wanted her to get squashed in her own hometown.
That's all that was gonna happen.
That's all that was going to happen.
Yeah, that's true.
Not only that, but it's like, guys, does the heat on the man Becky Lynch not prove that what they did in Knoxville was goddamn genius?
Oh, it's smart.
Yeah.
Vince doesn't like you winning in your hometown, especially if you're in a major storyline with a heel, because Vince knows how to get heat.
Exactly.
That's why you do it. You win in your hometown if it's a big thing. Like, remember, Vince didn't have to give CM Punk the victory over John Cena at Money in the Bank. He did in Chicago.
But because it made sense story-wise.
Exactly.
Because they had already given him the contract extension.
For 4 days at that point.
Yeah.
But they were in talks for longer.
And then when they got it done, like I think 2 days before the show,
Yeah.
then they were like, "Here, let's do the story like this, and you're going to be champion, but let's do it like this."
Yeah.
Have him show up to Comic-Con and talk shit to Triple H.
Yep.
Like it was actually brilliant on all sides.
Yes.
Oh,
because
yeah,
it felt
definitely was.
very real. You're like, "Yo, what
Yep.
the fuck is happening right now?"
It's a year too late, but for once I'll say this to AEW: better late than never with
Right.
Brian Pillman Jr.
Right.
It's about damn time, boys.
Yeah.
The only thing I don't like, Brian, I need you to go on your Twitter and apologize to MLW. I don't like that. I did not like that you just almost didn't want to give MLW credit for giving you your start.
Yeah.
Like, it just made no sense.
Yeah.
Like,
Why would you burn it? Because here's the deal. That is not a I set the bridge on fire, but Brian, you can't quote.
you destroyed the bridge.
Brian, you can't quote the famous song we didn't start the fire because you started a fire, kid.
I don't care that they work with WWE now. They gave you your start. Give them the credit they deserve.
Brian Pillman.
That's all I ask.
Brian Pillman.
Joey
name
Styles
Brian Pillman,
and those guys.
The name Brian Pillman got back into wrestling because of MLW, not because of WWE or AEW.
Joey Styles, because of course, working with his father in the past.
Yes.
Joey Styles gave that kid a chance when at first he didn't even want to be a professional wrestler.
Right.
And said, "Listen,"
which I would get it based on that situation with his father.
He said, first of all, we're going to put you with a friend of your father's, son, Davey, Davey Jr.
Yep.
And we'll just let you build yourself.
Yeah.
Like they were very good to him. So a part of me still hates that he took that shot.
Yeah.
Only thing I want him to do at this point is apologize for that. He's got to stop taking the pot shots at WWE, but otherwise,
but you got to stop taking pot shots at everybody because once Jesse, hold on.
True.
Now remember, I was actually criticized on the show by both of you when I talked about my issues with Rhea Ripley getting too into being in NXT. It wasn't harsh, but at first you guys didn't get what I was saying. Then you saw when she got to Raw. Is AEW creating an NXT issue in the sense that everyone's too homey right now?
Oh yeah,
they're too much of homers.
Well, everything,
and it's going to bite them in the ass.
Well,
because here's the deal. I hate to say it. Everyone keeps telling me, well, they haven't signed Buddy Matthews. Well, you can't sign everybody. They apparently have been.
You know what? That's okay. Let Buddy go.
Sounds like Buddy and Braun are going to go to Impact.
Yeah,
which would be great for both of them. Great.
Well, yeah, Buddy to me.
Morsley versus Braun would actually be a pretty good match.
I think Buddy should just go to Ring of Honor and then also work New Japan shows.
Buddy could go to the junior division over in New Japan.
They would put him in the heavyweight division.
No. What I'm saying is he could cut his teeth there for a little bit, show what he could do, and then move up to the heavyweight division.
Because it would be difficult for him to go do dojos now that he's like 30.
Right.
But yeah.
But Buddy could almost help teach half the dojos over there because Buddy is that good in ring.
Buddy's insanely good in ring.
Yeah.
By the way, Roman gave that kid a shine, which is why we all are like, man, I can't wait to see what he does. Yep. That's how you do it.
All right, so and by the way, to end the match with a submission was great. Love it. And by the way, folks, no, that's how you don't bury someone.
Right.
Because you take an inexperienced kid versus a guy who, yes, is only 24, but comes off as a 12-year veteran.
Right.
So it makes sense in story.
Right.
The next match was the longest 11 minutes I have ever seen a slow death happen in ring in my entire life. Malachi Black versus Cody Rhodes with Arn Anderson and apparently Brandy out of nowhere.
Well, to be fair, they had that kid 3 or 4 months ago.
And people are talking because she came out of, which I didn't realize, the heel tunnel.
Yeah.
I didn't
That's
realize.
the other thing. She came out of the heel
Yeah,
side.
I know.
Cody always comes out towards the middle because he always wants
Well,
the
he,
big entrance.
I'm about to say he comes up from the under
Yeah,
ramp.
But
Yeah.
I did not understand that AEW had a heel and a babyface.
Yeah.
tunnel.
If you watch it closely, it's always the same thing.
It's actually
Really?
very by the way, that's why they can't tell me they don't borrow from other companies. The way you you try to quote unquote structure your matches is New Japan, and then the way you have your entrances is very TNA.
TNA did the same thing.
Yeah. Don't tell me you don't borrow from other. Like I said, we might have to do a watch along of that press conference again.
Yeah, because that was painful. but anyway, no.
But also did Tony say it at that press conference or later that he was not gonna be a character on TV?
He said it at that press conference.
No, I think. Well, okay, we'll confirm with the watch with the watch along.
We'll have to
said
figure
it.
that out.
I think he said it at the after presser.
Okay.
It might have been the presser afterwards because Tony does a lot of after pressers. Let's just say that.
Well, if he said that right now, he's kind of being full of shit.
I think
He's lying.
I think he hurts himself. So remember the old CEO Jack? What was it? Jack Dolan or something like that for WWF.
Yes.
Now technically he wasn't a character, but you knew when you saw him, some shit was about to be announced.
Yeah.
I think Tony missed an opportunity by even saying any of that because what he could have done is been like, well, listen, I might pop on TV, but it'll kind of be to do the important announcements. Because then that way, anytime he comes out to announce anything,
now he's working with the Acclaimed. I'm sorry, boys, you ain't.
Yes.
that was an off-air.
You ain't the. But they publicized it as much as if it was on the show. That's what pissed
That
me
is
off.
true.
Yeah.
That's why. That's why I say that. It's
Let's
like,
get into this. I don't even want to talk about that.
I have never watched a match that I wanted to be over more, and I'm serious. And I love Tommy End. I do. Tommy End is
He's
so
a wonderful
underrated
performer.
with every idea he has. Like if you just would have.
By the way, the song is called Ugentrust,
thank you.
and it is a black metal death song.
He is a
Ugentrust
Ugen
is where.
So
Where did that originate
it's
from?
Welsh / Germany.
Welsh. Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
he's actually Welsh.
Tommy
All right,
End,
cool.
Yeah,
Tommy
yeah,
End,
yeah,
Tommy
yeah.
End is from the Netherlands.
Yeah.
Now, Leroy, this is where my expertise comes in. Over there, especially in the Netherlands and that upper part of Europe, you get a lot more what is called black metal. Now, black metal is a very religious-based metal in the sense that it's very satanic.
Usually,
Black
yeah.
metal and metalcore, the difference is there is metalcore has what you've been told is a breakdown, which is where all the instruments hit at the same time, and then maybe they're just all going slow, and then the singer's holds one note the whole
Right.
moment. That's what a breakdown is in metalcore. Black metal is ghost to the people that are to the people
Okay.
that are looking for this for more mainstream. Black metal tends to be a lot of punk aspects in the sense it's a lot of repetitive notes. There's not a lot of intricacy. There's not a lot of technicalness to black metal. It's famously recorded on potatoes because the sound quality is normally crap. Sorry, boys, it is. But it comes from a very dark place in that Norway, one of their biggest exports is actually black metal bands.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
The most famous black metal band probably is Mayhem
Yeah.
over there. And Mayhem is famous for their original singer going into a cabin in the woods, blowing his own brains out, and then the rest of the members made necklaces out of his skull parts and gave it out to fans. Mayhem fans are fucking like...
That's a little weird.
Mayhem fans are incredibly loyal, and that's weird because...
Black metal fans are...
Mayhem is famous for hacking up a sheep on stage, and then one of the moments they throw the sheep into the crowd.
Yeah.
Wow.
What is it? Vakken Festival.
Yeah.
The Vakken Festival will always
Which
have...
has now become more metal, but it started as purely...
Vakken Festival used to be very about that subgenre
Yeah.
of metal that was very dark, very... like here's the thing. Don't go in there with a cross unless it's black and on fire. 'Cause they do not like.
I'd be screwed.
Oh God!
Hide it in your shirt.
To be fair,
Hide it in your shirt.
To be fair, very very respectful fan base, but the music does not reflect it. Is basically my point.
Man,
Okay.
it's half and half, but
Yeah.
me and you will have to get into that on my own podcast. But 11 minutes of
the slowest death I've
by
ever
the
wanted
way,
to
what
happen.
pissed me off?
Oh.
What pissed me off?
And
was
by the way, Jeff,
fact-
hold on. Before Jesse goes on,
Yeah.
Jesse, you said it. If New York don't like something, oh, will they tell you?
Oh, they booed the hell out of Cody.
When I saw that, I was like, "What?"
You couldn't. And by the way,
Then I
funny
watched
story,
a little bit.
Tony
Oh my
from
God.
the lounge even mentioned the piped in booze didn't help. I'm like, Tony, that wasn't piped in.
No.
Tony, that was live.
That was pure New York City.
Oh my
Who are like,
God.
fuck you. We love Malachi Black. Like he.
Here's my question,
He literally
Jesse.
looked out right before the match. He said, "This is the House of Black," and they all stood up. And they're like, "House of Black, House of."
Oh, yeah.
I'm
Crazy.
And Cody almost looked taken aback because he's supposed to be this big, baby face. And he literally, every time he got off, you would have thought he was the heel because they booed the hell out of him. You
Yeah, I
thought he
know.
was John Cena from 2010.
Yeah. And the interesting part too is Arn Anderson.
Yeah,
I thought he knew how to go around the ring.
dude. So him falling off the ring. So apparently he was supposed to set up a spot. Like I said, this match was sloppy.
I know
as
he was
hell.
supposed to set up where
Yeah.
he get bumped, but he fell off.
But he fell.
I'm like,
Which distracted people because they were like, "Holy is the old guy okay?" Like,
yeah, I know. I was like, no, and then he got back up and then fell
to
off
go
again.
do the spot and then fell off again. Like, what the hell, Arn? Let's give up on the spot, guys. Like, he's already fallen. He said he's okay. Let's give up on the spot. We're done
Yeah,
with
no
it.
shit. I mean, I've walked around the ring. It can be a little different.
It can be
getting hairy.
slippery.
But if you've been so many years on that ring, how the heck did you fall off?
Forget that. Why is Arn involved in a spot to be?
Why does he need to take a bump?
That
Because remember, he's the one that blocked the black mask. Here.
Paul-
Which, by the way, they have
Paul
yet
Heyman,
to rename.
Paul Heyman taking a bump with Brock is different because Brock is strong enough to help Paul down to make sure Paul doesn't get over.
Well, people have said Brock is actually one of the safer guys to
Yeah.
work with because
But
he's so strong.
But my
He's a
problem is
defensive
that
guy.
Arn is too old and is not in the shape he used to be doing shit like that.
Arn could do a bump on the floor and done correctly and him falling. That would be okay.
Yeah.
But off, and I've been up in the ring and coming down, no. Because anything could happen
It's
from
higher than
coming
you
to that
think.
ring and going down. It is.
It's
a lot of stuff.
It's about
can-
5 feet
To
off. the
be
ground.
honest,
Yeah.
theirs in WWE's actually might be higher than most rings you see.
Yeah.
Now, you actually kind of had floor seats to SmackDown. I'm pretty sure. I think those rings are actually at least another 5 inches higher than most
Probably,
rings
yeah.
you see.
I would say that, yeah.
Which is why, like, when they fly out of the ring, it's a fucking spectacle because
Yeah.
those rings are off the ground quite
Yeah,
a bit.
I mean,
Yep.
it's help Arn. I mean, he's a
And
good
you want to know
Minnesota
what
boy.
pissed me off the most in this match?
Go
It wasn't
for it.
even that Arn Anderson fell, Leroy.
Oh, jeez, what?
What is this bitch doing getting in the ring and flipping him off?
No. Forget that she got what?
Why is she
Here's
there?
No. Forget that because we're past that. We can't even mention that anymore because we're way past that. We are so far down the rabbit hole. We gotta have this.
By the way, I like Brandy Rhodes as a person.
Yes,
I've met her. She's a sweetheart.
but no.
What
What
was
bothered me
that?
the
That's
most-
not badass.
No, but Jesse, what
No.
bothered me the most is this. If she had done it because there was a spot earlier in the match with her and Malachi, maybe. She just freaking did it.
She
got in the ring,
did that
sat-
because of what Malachi did to her husband. Her husband's there wrestling him for a reason. You don't need to get in there and flip him off.
And she sat down and crossed the legs, too.
Guys, you know what?
Wow.
Let me put this out here. I am not a misogynist or anything of that nature, but this is why I say it is okay for women to wrestle the men nowadays, and we need to get over this weird thing about it. Because what he should have did
Again-
was kicked her fucking skull off. for that.
Again.
There you go.
Again, quick disclaimer, not a Vince issue. It's a
It's a culture issue because
yes.
even Tony doesn't like it. Fuck that. I would have booked Malachi. Hey, when she does that, when she stand up with her,
stand up and
kick her goddamn skull off.
She's got a baby at home, but you know what? Both parents are going to be there because they're both going to get their asses kicked.
Right. And then that way, by that way, people, they would have thought that would have gave him heel heat, because then that would have made Cody
that place
Chris.
would have lost.
That place would have been like, oh my God,
Jesse,
yes, dude.
Jesse, that might have been the biggest pop Arthur Ashe has ever heard if he kicked her.
People forgot when Vince did it again, which, by the way, I'm always okay with a woman and a man being in a wrestling ring together. You just gotta book it right. That's all. When Vince had Baron Corbin, which, by the way, Becky, great job. I went and watched that match again.
Yep.
Hit her with the end of days, and everyone was like, holy shit, this man is fine. This man is finally going to get his ass stomped out.
And Seth McSherry.
Oh, yes.
Destroyed him for
Seth
it.
Annihilated him.
That's why you do that.
It was brilliant.
Oh, yes.
And by the way, but once again,
just like I said when Ronda was in the match with Triple H. Listen, if he would have pedigreed her, you'd have been like, yeah, see, that feels like the old Triple H.
Yeah.
It was like, oh, get out of here. Boom. It would have been done.
Yeah.
But, of course, they didn't do that. Triple H just took the bumps. But, yeah. What are you doing?
Also, remember, Triple H took realistic bumps from someone who is still a trained fighter.
Right.
Ronda Rousey might not weigh as much as anyone in this
No.
room, but Ronda Rousey is still a trained UFC champion.
Right.
Ronda Rousey knows how to rip arms out and make sure they don't go back in. Okay? So
Definitely, yeah.
it's
Get
not
hit
like
by
Triple
her, I'm
H.
screwed.
It's not like Triple H when he got punched in the face, threw his arms in the air and
Yeah.
fell back.
No, he was trying to block
He
shots.
took a shot because she's a puncher. But I mean, goddamn, enough with this. And by the way, if you're gonna do it, make sure it's a woman that can actually work. We all know Brandy can't, so we're just gonna get that.
Dude,
out
all
of the
you
way.
got to do is sell death. You're about to get kicked in the jaw by a black belt. Now, he's very good.
Yes.
So it's not. It's going to look worse than what it will actually feel.
I've never read a story of Tommy actually really hurting someone.
No,
Tommy's never actually.
No, I never heard that either, yeah.
Legitimately put somebody out. Tommy's a great worker.
Tommy's an excellent
But it's
worker.
just what was this? Why was this? And why did it happen in the middle of a broadcast that they even had to stop their fucking thought to fucking talk about? So they weren't even told about it.
Yeah.
They weren't even given a note on it.
The announcers clearly weren't even told
They had no
that this was going to
fucking
happen.
idea this was happening.
So she might have actually went off script to do that.
Which wouldn't
pissed
surprise me
off.
because this bitch wants more limelight than anybody.
Well, and I hate calling her a bitch, but what a bitchy thing to do.
Thank you.
That was such a Stephanie McMahon thing. I'm like, why would you do
But
that?
Stephanie, it's at least in the script that Stephanie's
It'll
gonna
be
do
in
it.
the
It is,
script, so
yes.
the dudes know they're about to be emasculated because it's Stephanie McMahon. By the way, just had a birthday this past Friday. Happy birthday, sweetheart.
But the biggest difference is that, folks, when Stephanie emasculates someone, there's actually a realisticness to it.
True.
Brandy has no ability to emasculate anybody because she has no real power in this scenario.
Only her husband.
All I'm saying is in New Japan,
Yep.
she once had to. She got hit by Minoru because she got herself involved. But you know what? It made fucking sense.
Not only that, Jesse, is Gato going to tell Minoru Suzuki he's suspended?
Well, he's not going to tell him no. he's pretty much Brock Lesnar in New Japan.
Yeah.
You don't tell him no.
No.
But here's the thing. Story-wise, it just made sense. Like, what are you trying to do in there to distract Minoru? He gave you a fucking forearm. That's what you get.
Yes.
He comes out in his entrance and beats up young boys.
But yeah.
Why would you try to piss this man off?
But back
he's
to the
stupid.
realism. But back to the realism.
Oh,
I
yeah.
hate to say it, folks. When Stephanie emasculates someone in real life, she can fire your ass and you're out the building.
True.
She actually has that power.
Yes.
Brandy has no such power.
No.
But
I
no.
mean, she has the power.
Yeah.
Well, she thinks she does.
Well, she is their chief branding officer.
Yes.
She actually does a lot of the marketing,
Yeah.
so she does have the
But
power.
Stephanie owns the company on paper.
I'm about to say she actually is the head of the company.
She
right
owns
now.
the company on paper.
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
the point.
Yeah.
Brandy doesn't have a paper stake in
No.
this shit.
No.
Cody does.
Cody does.
Cody does.
Cody does.
Well, that's why she thinks she does.
Yeah, I know.
Because her husband does.
But here's the deal. Triple H doesn't stand there and act like he's a paper owner. Triple H
and
does
Triple
the
H could fire whoever the fuck he wanted to.
Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
But anyway, no, Jesse, is it me or you talked about the CM Punk crowd coming to AEW?
Yeah.
Was that a New York crowd in this match, or was that an AEW crowd? Who booed Cody? Was it New York or was it AEW?
I think that was New York. So
yeah.
Is this going to happen to Cody again, you think?
I think what New York just did is they started the John Cena run for Cody. because.
But can Cody take it though? That's the thing.
I'm going to say no right now because then he comes out in the press conference and goes, "Oh, there's no reason for me to turn heel." Did you not fucking just listen to that?
Cody actually, by the way, go back and watch the match. He stopped for half a second.
Yeah, no, he was startled.
He didn't acknowledge
it.
John will acknowledge it because that's part of the character model now. Cody was taken back.
He couldn't believe he was getting that booed.
and by the way, it got to a point where you couldn't hear, and it's more because of the weird cadence he does. You couldn't hear Excalibur over the boos. That's how bad it got.
It was.
And Tony, I love you to death. That nothing was piped in.
Yeah,
that was all legit.
That was all New York, bro.
And by the way, if it was piped in, wouldn't that be a WWE?
That would be a very WWE.
That would be definitely.
But yeah, no. Cody is starting to realize that he either has to be all in, or he has to just be done.
Here's the thing.
He can't keep leaving for 3 months after half. Because Jesse, it's really sad because hypocrisy came back. Because the AEW fans are always mad at WWE for quickness, dropping things, changing things on the fly. What the hell's Cody been doing since he got there? He's in for 3 months and then he's out for 2.
He put himself in his own little bubble.
Yep.
And now he's in a world of hurt.
I think the Bucks helped keep him in that bubble, number one. Because I think behind the scenes the Bucks probably said, because here's the deal, we're gonna get into the Bucks here in this next match, and even though they're not in it, I'll explain why. We'll get into them in a second. But remember, the Bucks, I've always given them credit for one thing.
I can't believe they're conservatives.
Yeah, right.
That man wore a fucking dress again on Wednesday.
It's a romper, I think.
I think it's a romper.
I think it's a romper. But anyway, no.
I thought conservative Christians were against that kind of thing. Men were supposed to be men, women were supposed to be women. I don't know.
No.
I actually have a very wide, actually more positive opinion of Christianity, just because I understand religion in itself.
Same. Yeah.
But these guys are dicks about their Christianity.
Yep.
So like when I see them like dressing like a millennial or dressing like, you're just doing this for money, aren't you?
Yep. But hold on. We'll get to them in a second because they're very, very prevalent in our next segment, and I'll explain why.
I cannot wait to try to invite them on the show.
Yeah,
but I'm going to.
Yeah, but here's the deal. You had a situation where Cody might finally get it that, bro, this is not your crowd. It never was your crowd. You need to understand that when you got all of that fame, when you became the hottest thing in wrestling, that's when you call Vince back. I'm serious. It's not crawling back.
By the way, Ring of Honor is a New York crowd. It's a Philly crowd as well. So like, they loved him, but they loved what you were doing. They loved that you and Brandy were just these assholes all the time. Like they loved it.
But the other problem is that
now he's just like this pure babyface dude. Who, like, almost basically at the end of his feuds, it feels like he's buried the winner. And so, like.
Well, but the sad part about it is.
And there was a.
This was actually
by
hard
the way,
to watch
what did
for
I tell
Malachi.
you? There was a I told you there was a feeling even amongst their own fans
Yep.
that he was going to win that match.
Yep.
So, off the set, they didn't want to watch this match, probably.
Every false finish in which Cody either was about to lose or about to win. So basically, any false finish, and I repeat, false finish.
Right.
That crowd booed heavily. They were not into Cody going over here.
No.
I wouldn't have been surprised if shit wouldn't have hit the ring. Not a person, but like a beer. A beer might have hit the ring if Cody would have won.
New Yorkers, I mean, listen, at WWE shows, they'll fight the security people. They don't give a fuck.
Jesse,
there's no care in that crowd.
Jesse, what's the busiest day if you're a cop in New York City? Whenever the Jets and Giants lose. Anyway,
they usually bring out riot squads to make sure people are evacuating, just to make sure everyone goes home safely.
Yeah,
because we'll go fight the cops. We don't care.
You don't give a shit.
We just like, oh my god, I just watched them lose again.
Jesse,
I gotta whoop somebody's ass.
Jesse, that misdemeanor, you're having a beer with your buddies after you get out of
you don't care.
You don't give a rat's
once you get out of prison, knowing you gotta go to work the next day, you're just like, all right, let's go get a beer.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. But anyway, so we
finish though.
Yeah, 100%.
Malachi winning is the right thing.
Yes.
Get him away from this now.
Because here's the thing. Malachi is the only guy who so far they haven't gotten anything on.
Right.
Even Punk's got some on him, but Malachi, clean as a whistle.
Right.
Malachi is just doing his thing, and no one is pissing in his Cheerios.
Right.
He's just...
That's good because as they do that,
Like I said, CM Punk right now they're in the corner because unless Ricky is cleared,
Yeah.
I don't know where he goes next.
Right.
Like, are you gonna do CM Punk versus
And you can't
Sting?
have... And
I
by
don't
the
know
way...
if Sting should be watched on one-on-one matches.
And by the
You
way,
can protect
Jesse,
him in tag
and by the way,
matches.
Jesse, the ratings have been proving Punk can't just talk. It's a good promo,
Yeah.
but it's not for that fan base.
No,
he
no,
can't just talk.
Dude, so
Every time he talks, the ratings go down, except for that one Rampage.
Well, here's the
but
thing.
It was the first night.
Well, here's the thing. 2 weeks ago, when they had a very WWE-like show, they did one of their worst fucking ratings because their fans hate to talk.
Well, that was actually one of their better ratings. Was when they had that post All Out. That was actually the second best rating they've ever done. But the thing about it is that you could tell from the message boards afterwards, the hardcore all elite
Hated
fans
it.
were not fans of that show.
Hated it.
They were not fans of that show.
Because it was basically Raw.
Yeah.
I'm like, it was basically like a normal Raw.
Jim Cornette even said it in the review. This could have been a Raw in the Attitude Era when
Right.
10 million households were watching.
Right. Where like they did a moment that you kind of remember from the show, but
Yeah.
the rest of the show, like I don't remember what happened because nothing fucking happened.
Yeah.
Well, that's true.
So, ladies and gentlemen, now we move on to what I like to call the Bucks burial segment, because for the first time in hell knows how long, FTR got a high-profile match on television.
Yes, they did.
And
thank God.
They lost. And what everyone says is it was 9 minutes and they put Sting and Darby over. I'm like, I watched 9 minutes of the most gifted tag team in the world, and you didn't see what I saw because I saw two guys. All they want to do is wrestle, Jesse. All they want to do is get in that ring on national television and be the best tag team in the world. And Jesse has repeated this so many times in the show. It's old school. We should just have a recording that he presses a button like,
Yes.
You would have been tag team champions at least in WWE.
Hey, you know what? You should work on that.
Yeah.
A button that every time we talk about FTR, you just press my voice going. They would have been better off with WWE.
There's a board that I want to get that's like
We'll work on
$500.
Yeah, well,
We're gonna have to work on that.
Yeah.
T-shirts.
Yeah,
We're gonna-
T-shirts actually would be great.
Yeah.
We're
I
working
swear,
on it.
I swear to you, if FTR bought that shirt, I'm gonna tweet the hell out of that.
Oh, yeah.
I would.
'Cause I'm just saying, boys. Like,
I would send them a T-shirt
Oh,
if they
yes.
wear it on TV.
like, I'm just saying, you would have been better off staying in WWE.
Guys, the reason why the Bucks are here, and somebody asked, I think it was, AB actually posted this after watching and then talking about FTR. How much longer until they're champions? And my comment, by the way, is almost a year now proven. Bucks will never let it happen.
No.
Bucks will never let it happen again.
Well, they want to bring you at the trio championship.
Forget that. The Bucks will never allow FTR to showcase themselves on a weekly basis
Let me
ever.
back
No,
this
they
up real quick. The Lucha Brothers are the tag team champions right now.
Yes.
They were in a match on Rampage with three teams that probably could compete against them.
Yeah.
Hmm?
Instead, they're teaming with one of them. And I understand that right now, especially with that crowd,
Yeah.
Ortiz and Santana are going to be huge baby faces. We love them. They're from the Bronx. They're us. We love those guys. But damn, like, they're the tag champs, and that's what you're doing with them on your second big show of the week? By the way, good match.
Wasn't that filmed directly after Dynamite?
So,
too?
yeah, by the way,
Yes, it was.
Rampage was filmed directly before and after that Dynamite.
So
that crowd was there for 4 hours.
longer,
Rampage was taped.
probably longer than that.
So if you saw that weird cut, there was a weird cut, because if the show was live, it wouldn't have happened, where they were like, we'll be right back, but there was no fucking commercial. So I went to black, and then it came back. And I'm like,
So you're saying
that's
Kevin Dunn
terrible.
edited the show?
It feels like
Yeah.
it. Fucking bucktooth idiot. But yeah,
So much love.
Sullivan and the Chipmunks. Moving on.
Well, I hope his brothers don't look like that. Anyway, but yeah, it's one of those things. I'm watching. I'm like, this is a great match, but shouldn't they be defending the tag titles against these guys? Like, these are four of your top tag teams, and yes, I get two of them are in the Hardy compound, so they're almost held down by not good booking of a faction.
yes.
But it's it's one of those things where I'm like, Santana and Ortiz probably deserve a shot.
Oh, yeah.
And they still haven't fucking gotten it.
Because, again, we could list the legitimate ready tag teams, not just in the world, but in AEW.
Just in AEW.
And the Bucks will never let them have their shine. The Bucks buried Santana and Ortiz in this pinnacle inner circle BS, which, by the way, Santana and Ortiz looked like the most out guys possible. They did not look like they fit that at all. Nothing against those guys. This is not their thing.
Yeah.
But, no. The Bucks will never allow FTR to be champions again because then they have to be featured at least bi-weekly.
Right.
And it's never, bi-monthly or twice a week. It's never going to happen. And if it does, that means that somebody took the book away from the Bucks.
Somebody needs to.
I'm aware,
do,
but
yes.
so far they're not going to.
Like this, I keep telling people, like,
why?
and now even their fans are starting to see it. I'm like,
what was the point
dude.
of Sting and Darby beating FTR if it didn't lead Darby to a new thing? I don't get that. What was the point here? If they're not going to wrestle again, which let's be honest, if you feature FTR 2 Dynamites in a row, the Bucks, like I said, they're not idiots. They know, they're very aware of their own careers.
They've now booked themselves into, I told you they would book themselves into a corner with Darby because Darby got himself over.
Yep.
Here's the problem with Darby. You're not going to put the title on him.
Nope.
What the fuck are you doing with him now?
And you can't put the TNT title back on him because we already did that.
So unless you send him home for the next 8 months,
yeah.
Which, by the way, gives Sting nothing to do.
Yeah.
Because without Darby,
yeah.
I really don't know how he works.
No.
I don't think they know how Sting works without Darby Allin right now.
And Sting doesn't know how he works because remember, Sting never got himself over. Rick did that.
So now you've booked yourself into a corner where, yeah, you can do these feuds with Darby. But everything now is starting to feel like a step down.
I hate to
for
say
him.
it. I don't want to talk about the main event yet, but I hate to say it. This match is proof positive to Jesse's point. And Jesse, correct me if I'm wrong. Mm-hmm. Is this not on-screen proof that this is a built-in audience that will cheer for anything that isn't booked by Vince?
Oh, well, I mean, yeah.
I know it sounds odd because we already know that, but it's starting to show. The cracks are there.
Yeah.
Like, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children,
once again,
children of all ages.
This is not a knock against the match.
AEW brings you the worst tag team in the world.
Listen, this is not.
That's true.
This is not a knock against the match. I thought the match was phenomenal.
Well, that's because FTR knows how to work a match with anyone.
And I think Darby Allin is a fucking superstar.
Yeah.
Who just. AEW almost needed to exist because that's not a guy that, unless he goes to NXT, he's not going to be in WWE.
But if I called any of the EVPs right now, and put them on and put them on a hot mic, is any one of them going to be able to tell me what Darby's doing in 6 months?
No.
Probably not.
And everyone's like, "How do you think 6 months ahead?" I'm like, Vince thinks from WrestleMania backwards.
Right.
Vince already has WrestleMania booked.
Yes,
he's
he
just
does.
trying to get to what he already wants.
And maybe that's not the greatest thing anymore, but that's how he's always done it.
Yep.
But it works.
The problem is that, guys, even Paul Lee could tell you what Tommy and Sandman were going to do 6 months later.
Right.
Even Paul Lee could tell you what the Dudleys were going to do in 6 months.
Because they had a plan in mind.
Right.
Even if your plans changed, there was something already there.
Right. But the problem is that I don't think I could call any of these EVPs and say, "So, Darby Allin." And they'd be like, "Okay, what are his plans going 6 months?" I'd probably get some political around the ring bullshit of like, well, these are what we think. This is where we want to go. No, boys. What is the actual thought process for your most over dude? And he is. Don't even fucking at me anyone. He is the most overdue because he got himself over.
Mm-hmm.
Darby Allin's the most over homegrown talent they have. And you have no idea what you're going to do with him. Because the problem is that what's proving to me is that they can't. I hate to say it, they put more thought into BTE than they do into their own fucking show.
Orange Cassidy beat Chris Jericho.
Yep.
Orange Cassidy almost beat Kenny Omega.
Yep.
And they booked it to protect him because there was interference.
Yep.
Orange Cassidy is now in a feud with Matt Hardy about them wanting to cut his hair.
Yep.
Why? Yeah, Matt Hart, the dude, whatever he's getting
correct.
He's getting, Orange Cassidy is not losing his hair.
No, clearly Jack Evans is going to lose his hair next week.
Yeah.
On a normal Rampage, by the way.
Yeah.
We're back to an hour.
That's
2 hour shit's over.
That's going to happen. I saw that and I'm like,
By the way, I love how like so TNT if you like have the TV guide thing up, they put it as part 1 and part 2.
Yeah, right. Because even they knew that it was 2 different fucking hours that was taped. A 2-hour break in between for live
TNT
television.
just gave that shit away like, oh yeah, it's actually
So anyway,
taped.
moving on to the main event, which I'm just going to say from the top should have been the opening match, but we'll get to that a little bit here. Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, with Jamie Hayter and Rebel versus Ruby Soho. Okay, I'm going to go with Brian last here. You take the opening line of Ruby Soho by Rancid, you say it, then you cut right to the chorus because it works so well for her character.
Yeah.
It's a great song, one of the best albums of the 90s, classic album, by the way, by a great punk band from the 90s.
Absolutely.
But, guys, I'm going to say it. Ruby Soho is in the same spot that Ruby Riott was in.
Yep.
It's the same booking.
Here, can I explain to people really quick?
Please do.
Ruby Riott gets called up with the Riott Squad.
Yep.
They build.
Yep.
5 months in,
Gets a match with?
she gets a match with Charlotte Flair.
Who is the standard?
Who is
Sorry,
the standard.
folks. She is.
Even though I can't stand her at times.
Yep.
But she's the champion. She gets a championship match. She loses.
Yep.
And then that's when the downfall happens.
Yep.
You do it a month fucking into just bringing her in. Now, you quote-unquote try to protect her with the interference.
This is why I was worried about her winning this Battle Royal.
By the way, all I'm saying is I called this from the fucking beginning, didn't I?
Yes, you did.
I said you can't have Ruby Soho win, and you can't have her in the title picture right away because you know you don't want to take the title.
Well, this goes back to what I explained in that work off her gimmick, the pump mentality, to work your way up the ladder.
Nothing wrong with that.
Folks, I'm gonna grab. First of all, Ruby Soho, gorgeous. Love Ruby's look.
Absolutely.
But Dr. Britt Baker is also the same way, but it's the pretty girl versus the punk girl. You don't build that for a while. You have one promo that I still stand by my statement was below Ruby Soho.
Mm-hmm.
But
by the way, I mean, she's great on the mic.
Oh, no, she's great, but it sounded like someone wrote it for her because, like, in my opinion, Ruby Riott, whatever her name was on the Indie Lovelace.
Actually, it was Heidi Lovelace.
Heidi Lovelace, Ruby Riott, Ruby Soho. She's not going to take the bait on the easy line.
Yeah, no.
She's not. She works so
and by
hard
the way,
not
she
to do
she
that
said
in WWE.
she didn't go back to Heidi Lovelace because she actually always hated the name, which I didn't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was happy she cleared that up.
Yeah, but I want to point this out. Folks, Dr. Britt Baker, I understand how much work she has put in to become a heel, and she did it herself because they buried her with that cruise of Jericho.
I was about to say, it's not even worth talking about with, like, when she was first in the company.
Oh, God.
And, like, she was becoming one of the biggest babyface women, and they buried her, did nothing with her.
And then they did nothing to help her in a heel run.
No,
She got herself
she
over
got
in that
herself
heel run.
over.
I hate to say it. Somebody needs to go to her and be like, all right, I hate to say it. We got to switch you back. I know it's big show booking. Sorry, Paul White booking. But we got to do it. And someone be like, what are you talking about? It's like, she is too over. The chant is too over to try this heel shit. That's just not working.
Also,
it's not working to the crowd.
On an off note, going back to not only her, but Adam Cole.
Yeah.
Apparently one of the things they were trying to do, but unfortunately, and it worked against WWE's favor, was they were trying to sign her.
Yes.
So they were trying to do it before she actually won the women's championship because she hadn't signed her extension quite yet.
Yeah.
Because what they wanted to tell Adam and give Adam the promise of was, hey, we're actually going to bring your woman here and you two can be a pair here.
Yeah.
And we'll actually build both because they actually liked her a lot.
Her getting beat by Nia, folks, yeah, they did that as a fun
She
little
was an
thing.
enhancement talent.
But she was
by the way, that was just fun at the time.
That was just hilarious.
That was just funny.
I just loved that. That was just great in my opinion. But no, Jesse, this heel thing actually isn't working.
No.
As good as she is,
Yeah.
I see it because I can accept it, but that crowd's too over her.
But here's the thing:
She's too over with that
You can't
crowd.
even take her out the heel bull because now you've given her her own small little faction.
Exactly.
And you can't let Jamie Hayter go out on her own quite yet. So
No.
You've screwed yourself.
That's why Mandy Rose got put in NXT because those two girls, despite being badasses, had no direction. Now with Mandy, you can make something up on the fly.
Though I got to be honest, I think they also sit Mandy back because Mandy just.
Oh no, Jesse.
I don't care how gorgeous that woman is.
Jesse.
Good for you, Dolph Ziggler.
Yeah.
She was never a great professional wrestler.
But she needed a little
She
work.
needed a lot more work.
But Jesse, her name carries more water than theirs.
Absolutely.
Is all I'm saying.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
My point is this, guys. I'm sorry.
It's just we really love the storyline
Yep.
with her and Otis.
Ruby.
It was great.
Ruby is.
It was so cute.
Ruby is in the same spot. She is, and it's so sad because this was her chance. And I'm sorry, but once again, I applaud you for sticking behind your own talent.
Right.
But you don't realize that you've literally done the same thing WWE did.
Yep.
But at least WWE admitted it, and they kind of moved on from her.
Guys, I hate to quote our former president for myself before you talk, Leroy.
Oh, geez.
But damn, I'm tired of winning. Like, how many more times can I be right? Go ahead, Leroy.
Well, I just say, are they gonna fuck this up and like?
Well, they've already fucked
do
it up.
Well,
I
no,
just don't know where
I
they're
don't.
going.
They can't fuck it up anymore. But are they gonna like book her?
I don't know.
Or well, I know. This is
I'm about to say we didn't mean to both laugh at
all
the
right.
same time.
I'm trying to think positive.
No,
for
no, no,
that.
no.
Jungle
Go
Boy.
ahead.
But are they
Jungle
gonna
Boy, where
are they
are
gonna
you?
book this backwards like the Pinnacle in the Circle again? Or
All
something?
she's going to do now is have feuds until they're ready to try to put the championship on her.
Yeah.
So
Well, here's the thing. Another actual homegrown talent, in a sense, that got herself over was the Alien.
Yeah.
Chris Statlander.
Yeah.
yeah.
And you booked yourself into a corner because unless she was going to win that championship, you booked it too strong. When she came back, she was never going to beat Britt Baker for the championship. Because as I was telling Gene, I have yet to see this company do a short title run.
Yep.
I have yet to fucking see it.
Yep.
There's a reason why WWE's champions, especially when they're good, have impact on you.
Yeah.
It's because sometimes, they do pass the buck around championships a lot. But you know what? That's when you have a good champion and they last a long time. Roman Reigns, Bobby Lashley, like Daniel Bryan. Like when those things happen,
Yep.
that's why it feels better because you're like, man, this is a great champion.
This is
And I'm just responding to you.
Yeah.
I don't know what they do with her now.
I don't.
That's not just going backwards and doing other feuds.
Well,
Because
what
that's
they're
all they're
gonna
gonna
have to
do.
That's
Because here's the deal.
only thing they can do.
Well, but Jesse, here's the other part. Yeah, they did interference, but it was interference where Ruby Soho did not look the best when she came out of it.
No, unfortunately not.
This is not a heel got a win and then the face is standing tall still yelling about how I got Ruby Soho got buried here. Ruby
Yes.
Soho
I don't know if she got buried,
she got
but,
beat down.
but the beatdown didn't look good.
No. I don't know. Look. Ruby's a great competitor. She herself can build herself up.
Yeah.
But are the folks? I don't care if you're AEW, MLW, WWE, or DPW. If the fans ain't into it, you ain't booking it.
Right.
Sorry.
That's
Right.
true. That
Right.
is so true.
So okay.
Right.
Overall, love the show. It was a good night of wrestling, but this should have been the match that opened, and the Elite should have closed
Sure.
only because of what the Super Click did.
Fucking
The
That's
Super
still-
Click is back, and it's clear they're going to
everyone but Adam Cole in that group is an idiot.
Well, but the problem is
Yes.
Adam's now lumped in with those idiots.
I know, and that's what I hate.
And by the way, Jesse.
By the way,
and
he's
by the way,
already a megastar.
Yeah, I mean, no, and then the funny thing is, even though Jesse was kind of agreeing with me when I talked about All Out, I could see in Jesse's eyes and in his face, he didn't understand why I was so immediately jumping on the whole they've buried Adam Cole's bandwagon. But it only took 3 weeks. Jesse's now on the bandwagon. Jesse's now like, oh my God, he was right, and oh my God, it happened so
I do
fast.
agree. But here's the fun part. They did this, Brian and Omega, I think, too soon.
No. It wasn't too soon to begin this. It was too soon to have them have a classic, which, by the way, now on to our friend Uncle Dave. Hey, Dave. So, Dave, quick question. This is the best match that Bryan Danielson, the American Dragon, has ever had. According to Dave Meltzer, who gave this match 5 stars, this is the highest rated Bryan Danielson match ever.
Wow.
Apparently, I'm quoted. Let's just make this a shirt. Dave can sue me for libel at this point. I don't care.
We could work
This
on that.
man used to be the gospel, people. Do not.
We have more quotes for shirts than that. We
Do not. Right.
writing this shit down.
We're going to make a whole bunch of bumper stickers. That's
right,
what we're going to
right.
do. Bumper
There we
stickers.
go.
Brought to you by 13 Card Substitute.
We have to stop giving
And I love
him-
how you got into it with some people in the lounge because remember you met the man.
Yeah,
You were there when he
yeah,
was the gospel.
yeah.
So you remember the glory days
Yes.
of the Wrestling
Not
Observer.
too long ago, like 4 or 5 years ago.
And
Yeah.
now he's just completely talking. out
And
of
now
his
he
ass.
just talks out of his ass.
This is the best
This,
match.
this
Bryan
is the
Danielson's
best match he's
had.
ever had.
The
Russ-
American Dragon.
Just in his, if we're just talking to his American Dragon days, Samoa Joe,
Oh God.
CM Punk,
And by the way, he did
Kyle O'Reilly,
By the way,
Adam Cole.
But remember, Samoa Joe was every night on the ROH tour, so we had that match like every
Yeah.
night for like a month.
I thoroughly enjoyed the WrestleMania
I'm
down
about
in,
to say,
in New Orleans.
I'm sorry.
What happened to that?
You might hate WWE, but WrestleMania in Tampa freaking Bay was awesome. That main event was awesome.
Fabulous.
Yeah.
I
He
just
beat him down and then he stacked him, but Bryan still made him look
all
great.
I'm saying,
Yeah.
I mean, listen, Roman kept his word.
Yeah.
Like I said, I
He
laughed
did.
and I smiled ear to ear, but I'm like, I got to give Roman credit. He kept his word. He said, I'm going to smash you both, I'm going to stack them, and I'm going to pin them. And that's exactly what he
That's
did.
exactly what he did.
Yeah.
The man is a man of his word.
He is.
But that was an excellent ass feud. And then the way he went out, that was an excellent match with Roman.
Yep.
What are we talking about here? I'm done
Oh,
with
by the
Dave
way,
Nelson.
by the way, funny story.
By the way,
Totally
Brian,
agree.
Brian actually.
Alvarez.
But by the way, funny story. Brian actually came out and complimented Vince as well recently. So there's
I
another
know.
thing that Dave was
What did he
bullshitting about.
compliment him on?
He thanked before the match with Kenny. He thanked WWE and said, "I would not be here without them."
Yeah.
So Brian, first of all, we all get excited when new things happen.
Yes.
After a while, we can still have excitement, but that giddiness is not what it used to be. Leroy
Correct.
and I still love doing the show, but we've had two moments on this show where we've just been absolutely giddy. Number one was the first time we did it, and number two
yes.
is when Jesse consistently came on because it was something new. Doesn't mean we're still not excited to do this. It's just that. But no, Brian has wanted to wrestle. And he's going to get that chance.
Yeah.
And he's going to get that chance to have dream matches. He's going to get a chance to do different things.
Yeah.
But, folks, this is not the greatest match of Bryan Danielson's career.
It's a-
No,
What an
This
asinine
this is not the
statement.
greatest match of Daniel Bryan's career.
it was a good match.
It was a good match.
Do we have to have Brian? Do we have to have Dave Meltzer checked for like
Weed?
Alzheimer's or something?
For weed at this point, he's in California.
Like
Weed?
no, weed doesn't make you make stupid ass
No,
statements
no,
like this.
no.
You can make outlandish statements when you're high.
Yeah.
but this is so stupid.
He'd
Maybe he's dipping up into Oregon where they have legal amounts of cocaine and heroin.
To quote Randy
could
Orton,
be.
stupid. This is stupid. This is stupid. Can we get to Rampage, a part of this really quick?
Yeah.
Sure, go for it.
Oh my God! This man used to be the gospel. Like there was because he had for 30 years he built a consistent
It was also,
career.
by the way, it was also the first of two incorrect things he reported as fact in this week, and we'll get to the second one once Jesse's done. Because I don't think Jesse knows the second one yet.
What type of dumbass? I get he's just bitter at WWE at this point
Oh, yeah.
because everything they've done to him.
I think he is. He's
gotta
getting
be.
better.
But this has to stop, Dave. I expect fans to make these outlandish things, and that
Fan is short for fanatic.
and I usually learn to
Yes.
go like, okay, whatever. It is what it is. I'm gonna move on because I can't get mad at a fan because I'm a fan. I get it.
You actually have wanted to move on from Dave, but the statements keep getting more outlandish.
They're getting dumber and dumber.
Dave literally digs a hole, gets to a level of stupid where Jesse's like, I'm out, and then he gets a backhoe and digs it even deeper.
And then
God, yes, he
and
does.
apparently
This is the
we're
fourth
getting,
time Jesse's been over.
right, like because like and now I'm getting I hope I keep getting quoted and it gets back to him because like at some point somebody has to tell him like, dude, no, these statements are stupid. And I get it. It's, as Brian tries to protect him and goes, I mean, listen, it's just one man's opinion. Yeah, but this man used to be the gospel of pro wrestling.
Yep.
And now he just makes dumbass statement after dumbass statement after dumbass
And before we get to the Rampage, well, and not to mention the fact,
Cornette has said that too.
well, but not to mention the fact, to sit there and also claim, and by the way, I was
By the way,
watching-
Jim Cornette used to have a lot of respect for him, too.
He
Yeah.
did,
He-
yes.
he
He had,
unders-
him,
yes,
he
he
had him
did.
on the show,
Yeah.
and he begged. He was this close to begging Dave to say something negative about the Bucks, and Dave wouldn't take the bait. Dave wouldn't do it because Dave is clearly getting paid by these guys. But no, the second thing that Dave reported as fact
Oh boy.
but ended up being completely false because I watched the crowd, and by the way, it was reported by Fightful that it wasn't.
Yeah.
He said over 1,500 fans walked out because of Alexa Bliss and Charlotte. Did you not hear the crowd? They were chanting for Charlie.
Dude,
I know.
They were chanting for the doll.
Listen, I know there's a large contingent that have hated the whole Alexa Bliss thing.
Yeah.
But there's a large contingent that absolutely fucking loves it.
This has been one of the
I'm one of them.
Same here. This has been one of Little Miss Bliss's best segments that she's consistently had for a long time.
I've loved everything that Alexa. I love looking at her,
and by the way, guys,
but
every wrestling
she's great.
company, every wrestling company has a superstitious gimmick in it. Don't fucking at me with that.
Well, yeah.
And
what I hate hearing is this thing. I mean, all this spooky stuff. If you guys tell me you love The Undertaker, do you remember the 90s? Do you remember before 2010?
The Ministry?
Like, it was all spooky shit.
Yeah.
The lightning strike, putting us up on a freaking cross.
They put a woman on a goddamn cross and was going to burn it. They literally had a sacrifice to turn a wrestler into a guy named Midian. All I'm saying is you can't tell me you hate it now.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, and they had vampires. And they had vampires.
By the way, I kind of heard this statement.
I can't believe Dave is making me trust Fightful. And nothing against the guys at Fightful, but like they've had some stuff that's been like
True.
They've reported stuff that they thought was fact, and then it moved on. It's like the whole thing with Johnny Depp losing that liable case is that Johnny Depp wasn't proven to be a wife beater. It was proven that the Sun, when they reported it, was reporting what they thought was fact. That's why he lost the case.
Yes.
It's not saying Johnny was a wife beater.
Yes.
The point is that Fightful sometimes reports themselves into a corner. But they actually prove this to be false.
You got to give Charlotte Sapp a lot of credit, though. He's always willing to correct himself. I can tell you, I was watching it live. There's no way in hell 15,000 people walked out on that. It was one of the loudest segments on Raw that day.
I know, and I was watching that. I was watching that later on Tuesday, and I'm like, no, nobody left.
No one left. People are
was
super into Bliss. I'm very interested in Extreme Rules tonight because maybe she takes that title off of Charlotte. We'll see, because there's more interesting stories to tell if Bianca loses and they move Charlotte or Bianca over to Raw or whatever they're going to do. But Dave is an idiot.
Yep.
He will remain an idiot, and
until the day he dies.
Until the day now that he passes away, or unless he just gets better at his job again.
Yeah.
So let's move on to Rampage.
Before we get to Rampage, ladies and gentlemen, Chris Jericho.
Oh God, another
decided
idiot.
to comment about the MJF situation, and Jericho's comments. All I have to say is. What?
Please read them, or just even read them.
Here is okay. Chris Jericho said it. Basically, to paraphrase, this was the longest segment I've ever been a part of, and in the end, the fans got what they wanted. The good guy won. Nobody wanted the good guy to win here. We wanted to see someone go over that quote unquote. Wasn't somebody who's going to be gone from this company in 3 years.
Leroy, please speak before me.
We all joke.
I know how he feels about Jericho.
We joked.
I do.
We joked on the show that Chris sold to everyone in the back. We're going to make him better with this. No, he actually believes that he helped MJF here. He actually believes this helped MJF.
And I'm really, really, really starting to agree with Jesse. Jericho needs to go somewhere, play in his boat. He needs to go on an Australian tour with Fozzy, and then just get stuck on the island. It's basically they need the COVID shut down again with him on the island. No, that ain't gonna stop him. He's the COVID guy.
I'm about to say
the Australian
stop him.
The Australian government will stop him.
Well, maybe
they'll attempt to.
They will attempt, but he's a COVID guy. They can't stop it. Oh. He needs to be done. Just do something backstage. Retire. Oh my God.
This statement, Jericho actually believed.
Is he getting senile?
For 5 seconds, or an entire show.
I think the entire
Talk as
show.
Jericho's getting to be such a jerk off section. I can't. It's it's him critiquing.
Oh, I stopped watching it after 2 years.
It's him. It's him not critiquing stuff he did 20 years ago, which is what a podcast should be about. You know, when you're a wrestler, it's him critiquing what he did last week.
Yeah.
Jericho. Okay, by the way, I said it on this show. Top 5 all-time burials of a young up-and-coming talent. It was.
I totally agree.
This is insanity. What is happening? I don't get it. Jesse, he actually thinks that MJF is in a better spot right now for getting beat after 5 matches, losing 1.
Right.
One after 2 in one night.
Right. Do you want me to hop into this?
Yep.
If I get 2 in one night,
I don't have much time left in the show, but go ahead, Jesse.
I'm going to try to be quick.
He's gonna get the headset off so we don't blow his own eardrum.
Let me
hold on. Lever's got to take his off.
I'm going to put mine up here for a minute.
Let me make this insanely quick.
All right.
He's delusional. He has finally lost all of his damn marbles. I don't know if it's COVID. I don't know if he's done too many drugs. I don't know what's going on with him, but he is delusional. You don't bury a talent and then say, oh, they got over. No, the talent got itself over. It recovered itself because MJF is very young and very good. Okay?
Brian Pillman's aura doesn't have.
Oh, he's a fucking idiot. Go away. He has X-Pac heat. Go away, you stupid idiot.
Oh, my God.
By the way, that used to be his little thing, wasn't it? People are stupid idiots. They're vagabonds. They're troglodytes.
Yes.
That's exactly what he is at 50 years old.
You know what I have to say?
Go away. And now I'm done with him. Shut up, Jericho. Shut the hell up.
The sad part is Jericho's probably going to keep talking and give us more material.
And you know what?
Here's
Jericho, you're on my list.
He's on my shit list. Here's the worst thing before you have to scoot out of here.
Yeah.
Here's the worst thing, man. I looked up to him.
Yep.
So when people
so did I.
after the whole airplane from Ride episode said, like, you know, RVD says sometimes you don't want to meet your heroes. RVD, sometimes I don't want to see my heroes get old.
Yeah.
What the hell?
Yeah.
Jim Cornette was absolutely right on his podcast.
Yep.
The man has lost his fucking mind.
Yep.
He is insanely delusional and needs to go away from pro wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, go play with Fozzie.
And by the way, you can sing the song, but the lyrics, if you read the lyrics and you've known the song like I know it, it fucking sucks. I'm done with Chris Jericho.
Yep.
Go away. Just go on tour for 2 years. Just go do that. Go be with your family.
It's painful.
God, I was happy to watch Team America whoop his ass because I'm sick of him. Bury Chris Jericho, please, top team. You know what? Let Paige Van Zandt beat him up more. Just get him away from my TV screen.
Paige, in my opinion, needs to stop real combat sports because
she actually has a future in pro wrestling.
No, but that's my point.
If she wants it.
Yes. With her
God, she's so hot.
With her look and her ability to be considered a real fighter.
Yeah.
But the problem is once again she's like Ronda. I think the sport is now evolved past
We
her.
can put on the headphones.
Yeah. I think the sport has now evolved past Paige Van Zandt.
Oh, probably.
Nothing against Paige, but I don't think Paige is as much a marquee fighter as she once. The thing about Muhammad Ali is while boxing may have physically moved past him even when he was still boxing, his aura kept him in the big fight scene.
Right.
Paige's aura was never that of Muhammad Ali.
No.
And I don't think Paige has the ability to fight with this modern class.
No.
Nothing against
Well, and
Paige.
here's the thing. She's a decent fighter, but she was actually a better entertainer.
Yes.
That's why I think she actually has...
Her build-ups were always better than the fight.
For sure. She has to me, she has an insanely bright future if she wants to be a pro wrestler. I've liked a lot. It was kind of cool seeing Mazdoff there.
Yeah.
But that's just because I'm also a UFC fan. So like anytime I see Mazdoff, I'm like, I've always liked the guy.
And now on to Rampage as we finish up this week of AEW, which again, it's really weird. After you let the week settle, you realize there was more bad than there was overall supposed to be. I'm not going to say more bad than good because it was a huge ability to do what they did in Arthur Ashe Stadium. But y'all, you guys need to realize that Vince does something great, and then he moves on because he lets the greatness settle. You do something great, try to remind us of it, and we realize, oh, it's time to nitpick this bullshit, and realize it ain't as great as we thought. So anyway, CM Punk opened the show versus Powerhouse Hobbs.
Yeah, we talked about that.
This was clearly a move to try to give Rampage back what CM Punk gave it the last time.
Right.
Problem is, Rampage will never be that good again.
No.
The Super Click reuniting. It's clear they're going to be the first trios champions.
Probably.
I don't know why the Good Brothers were there for whatever. Actually, the Good Brothers weren't even there.
Luke Gallows was.
Well, I did.
No. Gallows and your favorite boy Cutlet was there.
Fucking idiot. He's
Well,
another one. Who needs to go.
I did enjoy. I watched a little clip of Luchasaurus picking up. Was it one of the Bucks and slamming him through another one?
Yep.
Or, yeah, I thought the way he did his little thing there, the big guy, that worked.
The only
That
thing
was
I will
nice.
say about this match, when Adam Cole, Christian Cage were working an awesome match, when the two tag teams were working it great, then it became a spot fest because it's the fucking Young Bucks.
Yep.
I am.
And then it ended with shenanigans.
Yep.
Because it's the fucking Young Bucks. So while Weston A can give this match a B+, I gave it a C+.
Yep.
Because unfortunately it did not reach its potential because of the Young Bucks. And that's all I have to say about this.
We talked about Top Team. The tag team match really became kind of an afterthought because American Top Team beat up Chris Jericho and Jake
By
Hager.
the way, here's the other thing. Chris Jericho apparently he's sloppy now.
Oh God, was that bad?
He missed so many fucking spots in this match.
He did.
Seriously, I can tell people, go watch this match again.
Jericho's also now at that point in his career where he's having to actually call a match spot to spot instead of calling it move to move.
What he needs to do, since he's an older wrestler, is prepare for the match before the match, because that way you guys know what the fuck you're doing when you get in there.
Men of the Year ended up going over the Inner Circle, and then there was the beatdown, which,
Yeah.
well, like you said, the beatdown was better than the match.
Yes, it was.
Lucha Brothers got their first win as a tag team champions in an 8-man. Again, this 8-man, the team that they should be in a feud with were their partners.
Yeah.
me.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, listen, they should be in a feud with Santana or Ortiz. Maybe we'll get there with AEW. I don't know.
Yeah.
But good match overall.
Yeah.
Really fun. I actually think that the Blade and the Butcher need to break away from the Matt Hardy stuff because now that he's healthy, they're a much better tag team without him.
Then there was,
but you know, it still benefits Private Party
Yes.
to be with Matt Hardy.
and then we had Penelope Ford versus Anna Jay. The fact that they haven't realized what they have in Anna Jay right now, nothing. Again, we started out hating on Penelope Ford, rightfully so. We have given her credit, rightfully so, because she's getting better in the ring.
Yeah.
But folks, Anna Jay not going over Penelope Ford at this point. Anna Jay on social media alone's more over than Penelope Ford.
There's no argument there.
It just made no sense.
I think the biggest thing is the whole story with. Here's the thing, and I'll just address the elephant in the room. Of course, the rumor that maybe Wyndham shows up next week because it is in Brody's former hometown,
Yes.
of Buffalo. If he does show up, to me, the only way to really, really get him going is to just put him with the Dark Order. But the problem is, after seeing this match and its quote-unquote afterbirth, as you guys like to call it, by the way, we need to trademark that.
We need to trademark the placenta because the experience uses an afterbirth more than we do.
So,
yes, that's true.
But is the fact that she actually almost got the Dark Order back together.
Yep.
I actually see potential in her as the leader.
Yes.
There's actually a lot of potential in there as her as the leader of the Dark Order.
I agree.
Yeah.
Because she's very, very good. She's
Yes.
she's only getting better. She's only 25.
But again, it's little moments on television like this where you just bury someone and there's no reason for it, and there was no. And by the way, this match doesn't, and I'll say it doesn't help Penelope Ford and it doesn't help Anna Jay.
Right.
End of conversation. With the
There we
result
go.
you got, it doesn't help either one of them, and it doesn't make any one of them worse.
Nothing good
They're
with
not
the
hurt
pit
by
stop.
it, but they're not made better by it.
You know who's getting wasted the most? There's a very, very talented 32-year-old Canadian woman that was around that match who has done shit in 2 years of being there. Mm-hmm. I bet you should consider starting to work with Impact more. Allie is one of the best fucking female wrestlers on the planet.
She is.
Do we know it? Most AEW fans wouldn't know it because they never fucking use her.
No. And then
That's where we are.
And then it's time for the third Lights Out match in 2 years of this company, or is it the second Lights Out match in the history of this
I will
company?
say this. Didn't care. Very New Japan-like. Fucking loved it. Fucking loved it. This.
Oh, yeah.
This.
Does it make up for the Suzuki incident?
Yes. Let Suzuki
Thank God.
and Lance Archer whoop ass for 25 minutes.
Oh.
They're very good at it. They make you think, oh shit, they might kill Eddie Kingston.
Do you think Lance would have worked in any other faction in New Japan?
Hell no.
As well as this, I mean?
No.
No.
Because he gets to bounce off one of the best, like, evil sons of bitch characters of all time in Minoru Suzuki.
Yes.
And it works so, because he just acknowledges him as the leader.
Yeah.
Like a mob boss. Like, don't you dare disrespect Suzuki-gun. And like, oh, and now we're actually going to get a street fight in 2 weeks on New Japan Strong. Yeah, in Philly. Yes. Oh, so AEW fans, by the way, were actually harsh on this because they found it semi-boring. I'm like, but that lets me know you're just a fan of whatever Tony and these guys do.
That is so
instead
true.
of like actually like embracing wrestling as pro wrestling in its different styles. This was very New Japan.
You are
hardcore.
you are not as all accepting as you think you are.
Exactly.
When you criticize a match that was for good workers, this was
Right.
John's element.
Yes.
This is where John shines.
And plus, to be fair, half of the damn crowd just wanted to see like Eddie Kingston smash people.
Yeah.
But I just don't think they have the understanding that like, listen, Eddie Kingston understands the style. He's worked with these guys before.
Yeah.
In this kind of match, he's got to take
The other sad part. The other sad part about it is that because they taped this after they did the Grand Slam, that just means that this crowd was on hour.
They were probably
Hour four, tired as hell.
Tired as hell. So they didn't even really get the chance to appreciate it like I did going
Why didn't
fresh
they
into
tape
it.
it? Jesse, this is New York,
I know.
which means that New York has multi-millions of people.
Mm-hmm.
In all the four boroughs, they could have had two different audiences tape this midday.
I think they literally.
They would have. Jesse, you want to tell me there aren't enough people with a day off
Right.
that wouldn't have gone to a Rampage taping in New York City?
I think they should have did this Thursday.
Okay.
So like do your live Dynamite
In the aftermath.
and then
Yeah.
like that
Because
way.
word travels in New York.
Right,
It doesn't matter.
right.
It doesn't matter if you leave an event at midnight, Jesse. By the next morning, half of New York, it never sleeps. Half of New York will have heard about it.
Right. Well, and then if you would have sold the tickets as such, like, hey, if you get the tickets for Dynamite, we'll do a package where you can get tickets for Rampage since it's a special
Which,
show.
by the way,
and be there.
that's a Vince thing. He gives you package tickets to
Yes,
the
he
Hall of
does.
Fame, to WrestleMania,
Right.
and then to Raw.
Right. Right.
He does it.
So that way, like, they would have came back Thursday. They would have been rested. They would have been hot. They would have been ready to go. What I will give Tony kind of pass. This is his first time doing something like
Yeah.
this. I think he probably will have learned that lesson from doing this. Like, you know what? Next time we'll do it the next day, and then give the fans a chance to go home, sleep, go to work, come back and be
Well,
out
but see,
again.
that's the biggest issue in AEW, and one of the last things that I'll say before I leave this to you boys is that's their biggest problem. Is they hotshot everything, thinking that it has to be done in the moment, immediately.
Correct.
Don't let anything sit there and breathe and grow. And that's why I think for the long term, Vince will ultimately, again, they're both going to survive because there's money.
right.
But Vince is never going to truly be WCW pushed because you have people. See, WCW was trying to do what Vince was doing. They were just doing it better. Then Vince turned around and ended up getting the two biggest
I will
stars
say
in the
this.
business. But these are just hot shotters.
Well,
it's
and
hot shotters versus Vince.
You also, besides Vince Russo's idiotic ass, you also had a couple of guys, including Dusty and including Eric Bischoff, that understood how to fucking book.
Yeah.
So they could push WWE
Yeah.
/ WWF at the time because they understood how to book.
Yeah.
Like I said, the only thing that they didn't have, and maybe it would have pushed them over in the war, is that they have Paul Heyman. Because I think if they had Paul Heyman's booking,
Yeah.
they would have won.
Yeah.
Because they were
Yeah.
putting on better shows week to week.
Yeah.
So So it's like I said, it's just one of those things. Tony will learn. I am willing to give him a pass on certain things because he's still learning at this.
Yep.
So I don't have a problem with
Yep.
like that. It's a little badly kind of doing that because you were trying to save time. And,
Well, but going back to what I said about the formatting, is you should have known that. And again, they did it to hotshot a first half-hour rating.
right.
But I still think you would have had a better overall rating if people had to wait till the main event.
Right.
Is Brian and Kenny should have been the main event.
I agree.
Especially with the placenta involving the Super Click.
I agree.
Oh yeah.
But again, it's this bullshit of we want to show that we're featuring the women. Guys, you can do that and still not shoot yourselves in the foot.
I agree.
It's a self-inflicted wound. Trying to do the right thing as a self-inflicted wound. That's what it was.
Right,
And I don't
right.
understand why somebody hasn't gone to Kenny and gone to Tony and been like, we can still feature Dr. Britt Baker, DMD.
Yeah.
Crowd's going to love her no matter what.
Absolutely.
But why are we giving her a 2-hour-old crowd that already went through a shit ton of stuff?
Because and I agree, if you would have put that match first, it would have got the crowd heated.
Yeah.
Now,
Definitely would have.
I still think the Malachi Black thing would have cooled them down a little bit, and that's why I think Anna Jay and them actually should have been on the Wednesday show.
Yeah.
Because then, if you do that on the Wednesday show, if they're a little quiet for that year,
It also would have been a title match for Rampage.
right.
Yeah. That would have been good for him.
The sad part about it is that it's almost like CM Punk is never going to be on Dynamite anymore, and he's just going to solely have to go to Rampage because without CM Punk, Rampage doesn't do numbers.
To be honest, like I said, give it a couple months now that these new guys are here. Maybe even with Wyndham there.
Yep.
Like I said, I'm that whole rumor. I'm only 40% on because I still believe he's going to Impact too. But
next week, I'm going to say this because I'm on my way out, but next week, Jesse, prepare yourself because next week we got two things for you.
okay.
Oh.
Two very important things. Well, not very important, but two things. Number one, we're going to need your AEW internal Spot Monkey Abyss. The wrestlers who have been buried by the very company they signed with.
Okay.
And next week, it is finally time because we have to tell the story. Jesse's going to give us the glory years of Mr. Omega
Yeah.
when people actually took him seriously.
Right.
And I know Jesse's been dreading that, but Jesse's going to be able to relive some good times in New
I
Japan.
hate that I've been so wrong about him.
The sad part
That's
about it is, the old story, long-term booking, the old joke that's now in wrestling.
Oh,
Jesse's mad at me because like I called that from the start, and Jesse more so than wanting AEW to work over me. Jesse has been the guy who's like, man, because I've got messages from you, and you know I do.
I know.
Man, you're wrong about the cleaner. It's not going to happen. He's this, that, and Jesse. I don't think there's been
it took a year and a half, but he broke me.
I don't think there's been a bigger downfall in
my God.
Yes.
in a wrestler for Jesse than what's happened to
Kenny
Kenny.
Omega.
And we're gonna map that out starting next week.
All right.
So
Oofta.
I appreciate you boys. Enjoy the rest of the show. They have a lot more to talk about.
Oh, yes.
They have a Victory Road they're going to talk about. They're going to talk about the results of Victory Road. Jesse, Leroy's got some G1 stuff we're going to talk about. I'm going to announce it here, and Leroy will announce it at the end of the show, so we do it twice. DPW 2 tickets are now on sale for Reduced to Ash. Can't wait for that show.
That's
and
gonna be
Leroy and Jesse will remind you guys
Was
by
that
the
November 21st?
November 21st.
November 1st,
Jesse and Leroy will also be reminding you guys at the end of the show. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, they're also going to talk about Extreme Rules, which is tonight.
Yes.
Give
a little preview, give some predictions.
I'll be back in time to watch it, but won't be here to preview it. So for myself, I will take my leave. Thank you, boys.
See you later, Zachy. So yeah, man, let's actually start to get into Victory Road.
Okay, yeah.
Impact had a very, very good pay-per-view. As Marcus in the PWL likes to say a lot. Really, I tell people, I get it. Access TV is very, very hard to get, but if you're working and you can pay them the $8 a month, get the Impact app because you actually get to watch. You can either watch Impact live or you can watch it the day after because they put the tapings up I believe 6 or 7 hours right after.
Yeah, I think so.
And
yeah.
they put the pay-per-views up about 4 hours after because usually the pay-per-views go really well for them. Let's go ahead and start with the first match, and
All right,
I'll just kind of give quick
let's
commentary.
see. Well, they have a three-way match between Steve McLean,
Mhm.
Peter Illman, and TJP. Steve McLean won that three-way
Yes.
match by pinfall.
Yes. Listen. By the way, one of their talents they've been really, really working on growing. Happy to see him get this win. I actually thought they might actually put TJP over a little bit more, but I got a feeling TJP because for those who don't know, a lot of this stuff is taped in Nashville for like weeks and weeks ahead of time. They do like 4 days, out of a week for tapings.
Something like that. Yeah.
So I got a little bit of insider rumor / information that probably TJP is going to be going back to New Japan Strong full time here pretty soon. So I think this is a way of kind of starting to book him out of their stories. But yeah, super happy for Steve. I'm interested to see, especially with the Christian Cage and Josh Alexander situation. I'm interested to see if they give this guy an X Division title match. He's grown so much. He's very, very good. For those who don't know, Steve actually used to be in WWE as used to be with Jackson Riker and Buddy Matthews for a time.
Oh yeah.
But he was actually before that. He was actually one of their guys. So I'm very happy for Steve, and it'll be very interesting to see where they go next with that story.
All right. Next one, we had a 5-way match with Laura Kid, Black Taurus, Jake something, John Skyler, Trey Miguel.
There's a reason
the Kid won.
Yeah.
Yes,
and he should have
by pinfall. Yeah,
and he should have. Man, there's a reason WWE wanted Trey. They wanted Trey so damn bad. For those who don't know, Trey used to be with MSK as the Rascals, and in Impact, and I mean they were a hell of a trio. And I mean, listen, WWE wanted all three badly because not only are they innovative offensively, but Trey actually knows how to sell being a heel pretty well. But as we've learned about watching MSK on NXT, these guys they're just so damn entertaining.
They are
entertaining.
very,
the ring.
very.
I was actually shocked Black Taurus didn't win. Black Taurus is a guy that they kind of just got from MLW. Good Mexican wrestler, very, very good Mexican wrestler. And in the storyline leading up to this, I felt that he would actually go over in this match, but very, very happy for the kid. Like, that was actually the right decision. Where I got to give Impact all the credit in the world, where you can't give AEW credit, and even WWE at times. They like to build and put over their young talent, and they do a great job of it. Go ahead to the next.
There we
match.
go. Well, we got Taylor Wilde defeated Tennille Dashwood, and our lovely lady Jordan Grace was out with her.
I got to be honest. This is one of Tennille Dashwood's best matches ever.
Even with the loss, but yeah,
she's grown so much as an in-ring performer. In just the last 4 years, it's almost overly impressive.
Oh yeah.
Because I thought when she originally was let go from WWE, for those who don't know, she used to be Emma/Emmeline, which that story never went anywhere. That was weird. She went to ROH originally, but her in-ring work was a little meh. But her promo work was actually always very good. And that I think a lot of that comes from what she was learning in NXT and in WWE. I am not surprised Taylor Wilde went over. Listen, this is a homegrown Impact talent.
It is.
Getting her back is huge for them.
Yeah.
Because their women's division is starting to suffer a little bit because, I mean, listen, Rosemary's a little bit older now. She's not going to probably be a full-time wrestler as much as she used to be. Definitely part-timer now. Of course, they don't have Allie anymore. Kiera Hogan is gone. So, I mean, to be absolutely fair, AEW has stripped them of a lot of their more veteran presence in that women's locker room. But, to be fair, also, so has Billy Corgan.
Well, yes, a little bit. But we do have Mickie James coming back in their next pay-per-view. She is going to be back.
And
so
which
they get
will
a good
do
veteran.
them a world of good.
Oh, yeah, it'll be great.
but they're trying to get a lot of the Tasha and a lot of that homegrown
Yes.
talent, more reps, more stories, more things to build upon. Very happy for Taylor, but this was the right move. I know some people were upset. They were kind of hoping Tenille would go over because, Taylor Wilde is such an Impact, almost legend in a sense.
Oh, yeah.
That maybe the win would have helped her more. But I'm totally okay with this. Tenille's growth is what they really want to see as far as ending the ring. So go ahead to the next match.
All right. Then we have a no DQ match with Matt Cardova defeating Roji.
Rohu Raji, I believe.
Rohu Raji. Okay. All right.
Weird match. Like weird storyline.
Weird storyline. Okay.
Every single sense of it. Because it was based off of the fact that Matt came in and with his girlfriend and all that, and the winning, them beating the former Brian Myers, as they call him now. So because they're kind of building a faction with Brian Myers and Rohu. But I actually thought overall good match. It's so weird though because I'll just say this. Go look at Matt's tweet from after the match. I don't think they're done with the storyline. So
okay.
we'll see where they go with it. But I thought it was a fairly enjoyable match.
Yeah, usually no DQ usually means they're done.
Yeah.
But yeah, you never know. Yeah. All right.
It feels like they might continue it based off of his words. Raji's like mini promo out there. Like it's we'll see.
All right. Yeah, there we go. All right. Then we got a tag team match with the Bullet Club defeating Finn Juice.
Was, by the way, what an excellent match. Finn, it's going to be very...
Two great tag teams there.
It's going to be very hard. So the rumor recently is that Triple H, well, not Triple H, but WWE officials had approached not only Dave Finlay, but Juice Robinson again.
Yes.
Because for those who don't know, he actually used to be in NXT as like this weird hippie character. It just didn't fucking work at all. But on the other side of that, there's a very, very weird story going on in New Japan with Bullet Club. It's a good story, but it's a weird story with Jay White and Evil. And there's also a rumor I think Jay White's contract comes up in about 6 months in New Japan. So I'm interested to see what happens. Right decision, though, because I think this is with also new Bullet Club member. This was with new Bullet Club member, the young black kid. Son of a bitch. Right result. Finn Juice is over. They actually might be tag team champs again and Impact again very, very soon. Because unfortunately, I don't think they're actually going to get another Impact or in IWGP tag team heavyweight tag team match for a while.
Yeah.
But yeah, great match. But I'm actually more interested in what happens with this Bullet Club thing now. It's a very interesting story, and we'll talk about it more with the G1. Go ahead.
All right. Next, another tag team. We get Moose with Morrissey defeated Eddie Edwards and Sami Callihan.
Sometimes you forget, because Sami Callihan has been a heel most of his career. You forget he can actually be a really cool-ass babyface. And, like, the just never say die attitude with both of them against these two giants of fucking men. Moose and him, they're huge men.
That's a big boys.
I mean,
oh god, yes.
Listen, Morrissey is the revelation this year because it feels like he's finally defeated those personal demons and he can just focus on being a wrestler.
Yes.
And I'm so happy for him. And just this never say die attitude and the teamwork between Eddie and Sami Callihan. There was a cool spot. kind of outside the ring where they're double teaming. I believe it's Morrissey. And at first it looked like they didn't want to work together, and then they just understood like we had to work together to beat these two giants of fucking men.
Yeah.
Right result. Like sometimes people hate the fact when big guys go over just because they're big, but in this case, right result.
Yeah.
It's so weird because I know Moose signed that new multi-year contract with Impact. I don't know what else there is for him to do in Impact. Like, he's having these really good matches. There's probably a chance he becomes Impact World Champion again. But after that, like, I don't know where he goes. Like, I actually thought when he was offered a WWE contract, I don't know what the details are of it. I don't know if they were going to send him to NXT. I don't know if he was going to be a straight main roster call-up. But what I do know is there's not a lot else for him to do in Impact.
Yeah. It's like, what? Yeah, you never. I mean,
it's like I said, I
see.
love it because I love seeing my people do well. And Moose as a black wrestling fan, we're just huge fans of. This is a guy who was a football player who had a really terrible injury. They told him he couldn't play anymore. He gets healthy. He decides to give pro wrestling a shot. He becomes very, very excellent at it. But damn, I'm like, what else is there for him to do in Impact? We'll see.
Maybe work in Japan some too. I don't know.
I'm about to say they have been rebuilding that relationship. That's why you've been seeing Bullet Club a lot more in Impact.
Yeah.
But we'll see. That's kind of a lot of Impact right now is a lot of we'll see. We'll see. Because right now it feels like they're in a little bit of a holding pattern because of some of the talent from New Japan they should be getting. By the way, like I said, the relationship with AEW has benefited them none.
Yeah. They definitely have to move away from that and just.
I have no problem with them working with AEW, but it's benefited them nothing. Like Jordan Grace it feels like she's in a holding pattern. Why have we not? AEW could use her right now.
Oh yeah, she'd be great.
She'd be great. The ROH Women's Division could use her right now, who they also work with. But like I said, Impact it feels like is in this weird holding pattern. But the storylines are still decent. We'll see what happens. Like I tell people, Access TV is very, very hard to come by. I know sometimes they will actually put the episodes up, I think, on Saturdays, but they do take them down.
Okay,
So if you can watch the show on Thursday, watch it. If you can find it on YouTube on Saturday, find it. It's usually gone afterwards. But Impact is definitely worth watching. I thought there was a main event with Josh Alexander and Christian Cage too.
No, they had like 10 matches on this thing. That's a lot.
Victory Road used to be like their WrestleMania.
Yeah, it's their big one.
Yeah.
They had the women's tag team match come in, and DK held their title. They had Savannah Evans and Tasha Steele. They won that, so.
Like I said, the women's division is very good, but they are having to build these women while in story.
Yes.
And listen, they've got incredibly talented women. Tasha Steele's is an astoundingly if I tell people, if you watch her in ring, it reminds you a lot of Sasha Banks. Just there's nothing she cannot do. I know they also have Rachel Ellerling on the roster. And of course, I mean, listen, she's a powerhouse.
Oh, yeah.
By the way, because it's crazy because, her dad has lost so much of his muscle mass as he's gotten older.
Well, yeah.
But even he was never that big. Right call. Actually, I've always said where WWE failed is they should have been copying TNA from the moment they started taking that Knockouts division more seriously back in 2011, I think it was.
I think it was around then, yeah.
Yeah, and they were just letting those women go out and have really great matches and start to headline their shows. They should have taken ideas from them then. They need to take ideas from them now because the way they book a women's tag team division is perfect.
Yes.
The build up to this match was incredible. Decay, trying to get into the heads of their opponents, which of course, working with Rosemary, guess what? You better be damn good at it.
You better go, definitely.
But great match, right results. Interested to see what happens because they have the ability, since they tape everything, to kind of book at least 3 weeks ahead. So it'll be interesting to see where they take the women's tag team belts after
There
this.
they go. All right, right after that, the men's tag team. The Good Brothers, the good old champions, they defeated Rick Swann and Willie Mack.
Wasn't a shock.
Not very much.
There was some controversy online about it, but I didn't get it because Rich Swann and Willie Mack half tagged before they're actually known as friends on camera in Impact.
Yeah.
But they kind of, it was very WWE sense of the way they came together to go after the Good Brothers. And to be fair, I mean, the Good Brothers are actually doing great work in Impact.
They're doing very
Carl
good
Anderson
work.
would shut the hell up.
That's probably not going to happen.
That's probably not going to happen, but
No.
but otherwise, yeah, man. Great. Once again, by the way, absolutely fantastic match. I actually think TNA gave them, Impact gave them permission to upload this match. If you can find it on YouTube, people, go watch this match. I think it's about 10, 12 minutes, something like that.
Yeah, unfortunately, when
There
I
were
was
no
printing out,
times?
there was no times on
Okay.
it, so I was
I
a
think
little...
this one was about 10, 12 minutes, but I mean, listen, if you can pack a story into 10, 12 minutes, they did an excellent job.
Yeah.
So, right to me, right call. Rich Swann is in a weird place since AEW got involved with Impact because he was doing a really good job as a
Yes, he
main
was.
eventer.
Yes.
Scott D'Amore's going to have to figure that out because then he also got hurt, so he had to take some time off. But yeah, hopefully Scott D'Amore figures that out because him and Willie Mack actually need to be back in the title picture at some point soon.
Yeah, all right. Then we have the X Division match next where the champion, Josh Alexander, beat Chris Sabin.
Josh Alexander has been a revelation. And then, of course, recently, he announced because they upped his pay and some other stuff that he's doing well enough where he's wrestling full time now.
Yeah.
And listen, people, I know people were upset because his wife sold some stuff so she can go to the show. I agree. I only half believe the story, but I don't know. There's been no confirmation if that's true or not. But Impact does run on a budget.
Oh, yes, they do.
They
yeah.
are very much, after everything that happened with Dixie Carter on that, they are very much a kind of like studio wrestling company. They really are.
Yeah.
But they do a lot of great stuff with that down there in Nashville. But I will say this, because his wife is actually also a professional wrestler.
Yeah.
But she's a smaller indie kind of wrestler on the indie scene. It would be weird if they didn't offer her a ticket.
Yeah, that's kind of weird, yeah.
Or even let her go backstage. Scott D'Amore's never been that way. So I had a hard time believing that. Apparently the story is like she sold some of her ring gear so she could pay for a ticket to go see him. Maybe she did. I would have to believe Scott D'Amore reimbursed her for that.
Oh, definitely.
Because
I think so.
I don't, like I said, Scott D'Amore and I forget the other guy's name who's kind of in charge, and Gail Kim, they're not the kind of people to let their talent do that. The company has enough money to allow, family members to go to shows for free. They get so much money from advertising that it's hard for me to believe that they couldn't reimburse her. But I will say this about the match. I mean, it's Chris Sabin.
Oh, yes.
If people never watched Chris Sabin in the past, the guy is a technical masterclass who is deeply underrated. Him and his motor machine gun partner Alex, the guys are just great. They've always been great.
Oh my God.
And then Josh Alexander, the guy is Kurt Angle in his prime without the goofiness, and that was one of the appeals of Kurt Angle back then.
Yeah.
But it's without the goofiness. Like Alexander's serious as hell. He's a former amateur wrestler as well. But oh God, what a classic! it might go down as, to me. Maybe I'm being a little hyperbolic. I'll be absolutely honest about it. It will go down as one of the best X Division one-on-one title matches of all time.
Okay, all right.
I thought it was that damn good.
All right. Last match tonight was Christian Cage, the Impact Champion, retaining and defeating Ace Austin.
There's some anger over this. So, because like I said, Impact. I think we brought it up a couple weeks ago, and I said this is the first time Impact in a little while has actually booked themselves to a little bit of a corner.
Yep.
Ace Austin is a great young talent that they have. But if you take the title off of Christian Cage, well, there goes your free promotion on probably AEW, because they're probably not going to have Ace Austin on AEW.
No, they probably won't. No.
But Christian Cage is, of course, signed with AEW. But he's such an Impact legend that, of course, it would only make sense for him to go back there every now and then and do stuff.
Oh yeah.
By the way, Christian just understands how to work with guys.
Oh yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
So because the controversy is not in the match. The match was excellent. Like I said, Christian Cage might have the best feet in the business as far as his movements. How he can tell a story. Christian has just always been deeply, deeply underrated. But having Ace lose, which actually, I hate to say it, I'm going to very much sound like Zach here, was actually the right decision.
Okay, yeah.
But it
can sound
puts
like
you-
Zach every once in a while.
it's definitely
It's all
a
right.
very Zach thing to say, but it puts you in such a corner because he can always go back and get this title. He's a main eventer. Ace Austin is excellent. But damn, having Christian beat him now, you're like, okay, when does Ace actually get another shot? What was really cool, so of course after the match, Josh Alexander comes out and they tease the potential champion versus champion match between Josh Alexander and Christian Cage, which, holy shit.
Yeah, they were
Will be
talking about
great.
that. Yeah,
Yeah.
We'll see their next pay-per-view they're going to do. They may or may not.
They
you
may
know.
or may not do it. They
We'll
may
see.
they may long term this, and I'm okay with that.
Yep.
Unfortunately, like I said, their relationship with AEW just, to me, holds a lot of their world title picture back, and I hate that. Because I have a part of me wants to believe that they wanted to put the title on Ace Austin, but they just haven't because of everything going on in AEW. So
Yeah, well, however long this partnership goes, eventually it'll end, and then Impact can go.
either
on its own,
it'll
so.
end or Impact will be like, we'll just keep working with New Japan and Ring of Honor because the other ones are not the other one is not benefiting us.
No, it
at
ain't doing
all,
shit.
really.
It ain't doing shit at all.
At all. Yeah, Christian Cage will come out with the title, but actually, I don't even think to be honest, and we didn't talk about this. I don't even think on Rampage in that match he actually came out with the championship. Like I said, and of course Don isn't even with the company really anymore. So like, I don't know.
It doesn't matter. Yeah.
Yeah, so, but overall, because me and Gene were kind of talking about the pay-per-view, I give the pay-per-view a 4 out of 5.
Okay.
Like I tell people, Impact is doing for a smaller American company. They're doing a lot of excellent shit down there, man. Like I tell people, even though they're in a bit of a holding pattern, go watch Impact. First of all, the 2 hours of TV are actually it's either a lot of great action every week, or just even if it's a lot of backstage segments, it's a lot of really funny, excellent backstage.
Oh yeah,
segments.
I have watched a lot of clips from that, and I have a lot of fun watching.
It's
all
good.
That.
It's
some good
really it's pure. It's very pure fun pro wrestling down
There we
there
go.
in Impact, and I love a lot of what's going on.
Well,
down
I said
there.
they get the two smaller companies, NWA Power and TNA.
Oh,
Both of them are doing great.
Like I said,
love
the only thing I hate that Billy did was he took himself off of YouTube, because to get those young fans into Power like he was doing before the pandemic, I thought was huge, because now you get the 16 to 30 group going like, man, this is what my dad used to watch. This shit's great. You know what I mean? Like, dude, this shit's awesome. Because they still kind of book it like they would do back in the 60s, 70s, and 80s.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And then of course the pay-per-views become spectacles. But yeah, NWA and Impact, and I mean, Ring of Honor is more action.
Yeah, there.
Um,
Yeah.
But yeah, NWA and Impact are doing excellent things. The only thing I hope NWA does in the very, very near future, and I know Billy has alluded to it with Rich Eisen and stuff, is try to get yourself on like a Channel 9 or what the fuck is that normal WB? I think it's called the CW or something.
The CW. Yes. Yeah.
Try to get yourself on there.
That would be. CW would be great.
Because if you can get them to let you be on there, which I'm sure they might, you get a deal at Warner Brothers where you can get NWA Power on there for like an hour and a half. I mean, my God, like to put he's lost the title now. He's actually spending more time with his family. Nick Aldis is, but to get to see Nick Aldis, Trevor, who people need to see.
Yes,
the new NWA champion.
Yes.
And then also the talent that goes between Impact and NWA on there. I think it would do wonders for the company, and I think it would actually get Billy where because he wants to put the company back at full prominence again, to the point where like he still wants to do the studio stuff.
Oh yeah.
But he wants to do what they used to do in the Mid-South, and every now and then hit the road a little bit. But I'm like, it's hard. To me, I think it's hard for him to do that because not a lot of people know how good NWA Power is right now.
No,
So
they got to get it out there.
He's got because Fight TV is great, but the problem is you actually have to pay Fight TV like $5 a month just to watch it. And unfortunately, with Fight TV, the $5 doesn't get you everything, and you still have to pay for the pay-per-views and all that. So it's to me, Fight TV is one of those things where it's like, right now WWE just does it the best because I can just watch the pay-per-views on one app for $10 a month.
Yeah, and a bunch of other shit too.
Yeah,
right?
so.
All right, we can do a little G1. We're probably back more. The biggest news coming out of there is the injury.
Yeah. So Naito's been dealing with a nagging knee injury. Apparently, this thing got hurt before the G1, and then in the G1, his first G1 match, it was so exacerbated.
It got a very
because of a botch move. It actually wasn't because of the match itself.
Okay.
That apparently, and this is the rumor, is that in ring they changed the finish in the moment because Naito was kind of saying like he couldn't finish the match. It's a bummer.
It is, yeah. Seeing that, I was like, wow. So yeah, they had to change that. They had to.
So everyone he's supposed to face,
supposedly they get
is
points
awarded
for.
Points, yeah, because he basically. One thing I do sometimes like that New Japan does, but sometimes what I don't like is that sometimes in these tournaments, they're just like, you know what, we lost a guy. What we're gonna do is we're just gonna give everyone their point or whatever, their win, and then we'll just still kind of book around it. Sometimes what I wish they would do is do what other companies would do and be like, let's find a replacement, because he lost his first match.
Yeah.
So you can actually do a story where the replacement is now like they're behind everyone else and have to fight their way back. But I'm okay with what they did. Basically now anyone who was going to face him gets a bye when they were supposed to face him.
And they were talking about, too, they were going to do some special matches to replace what they were going to have. They started talking about doing something like that. So I thought that was pretty good.
So they're going to try to do some special like tag matches and things like that, and some special one-on-ones to kind of replace what they're going to lose with Naito. Here's the problem. Naito, the number is probably wrong. I'm just in my head because it's happened so much in the last 5 years. Gene in the PWL, the professor, as I like to call him, will probably give people more accurate information than Dave Meltzer will.
Yes.
But I believe the man has had 7 knee surgeries in the last 5 years on both knees.
Oof. That's a lot.
He's probably near the end.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Which sucks because New Japan is supposed to come to Houston again, I believe, after Wrestle Kingdom, so early 2022, I think February. And there's a chance where Naito's not going to be there. and it sucks because he's one of the greatest Japanese talents of all time.
Yeah, I would say when your knees or your back start catching up to you, nothing's ever good.
I think he now Japanese wrestlers. Listen, if they can get cleared enough, they just change their style usually.
Yeah.
But with him, he's so dependent on his quick movements that it sounds like if he has to have another knee surgery, I don't know how he does it. And he could. He's in phenomenal shape, but yeah, I his best days are definitely behind him. And Naito, I just want to say as a fan, I do hope you come back. I hope you have a speedy recovery. But a part of me believes it's near the end for him, and that sucks. I think he's 40 or something now, but yeah, it sucks. It really does.
Yeah. Definitely next week I'll have it updated because they're got so many matches going on.
I know. So we got violent yet still great cheating Toru Yano, who, like I said, man, there's still a chance.
There is. Oh yeah. I said next week I'll have the updated scores
for sure.
and points there, so we can get.
Hopefully
be updated as possible.
And like I tell people, I don't get the chance to watch these because they come on sometimes at 2 and 3 in the morning, and I forget. Like I used to religiously watch it all the time because I worked overnight, so every now and then, like I would just be on my phone at work, like New Japan time. But yeah.
Yeah, when you're trying to work a normal work schedule, and they're doing stuff in Japan, which is so many hours ahead.
For the first
of
time
us,
on the G1,
it
I'm actually I think I'm now I'm 3 days behind. So I know the results, but I'm trying to catch up.
Yeah,
but it's been a great tournament so far. Really
that's what I've heard. Totally
I told people just because you don't see Jay White in there, just because you didn't see a couple other larger names, Will Ospreay, things of that nature. I'm like, do not think this won't be a great tournament.
No, they always put on a good one.
They're the best. I just like I tell people they're the best. They're literally the best in the world at wrestling, sports-based wrestling tournaments. They're the best at it. They just Gato and those guys they very rarely miss in these tournaments because they build most of the stories out of them. So
yeah, there we go. All right, we do have a couple quick shitting ones before we get into. Those are my papers over here for the Extreme Rules and the matches for everything. We got a new women's tag team match. Champions on Monday night with Rhea and almost a superhero, Nikki Ash.
I am happy that on SmackDown they addressed the huge elephant in the room, and that was that Tegan Nox and Shotzi Blackheart had kind of owned the former tag team champions.
They did a couple times, yes.
So the fact that we are probably going to get a three-way for this, good on you, WWE. You usually fail at this. Like I said,
yes.
I can criticize WWE people. They usually fail at this. I'm very excited to see where it goes. I got to be honest. You almost gave away that you were going to do new tag champs. So before the match, they had Rhea and Nikki Ash talk about Connor's Cure, which of course is the foundation / fundraising foundation to fight pediatric cancer in children.
Yeah.
And for those who don't know why Rhea got so emotional, it's because she's known a couple of kids who have died from pediatric cancer in her life.
Yeah, and this month it's this month, and they always do in September.
Correct.
Connor's Cure.
Correct. So they were talking about it, and she got really, really emotional. And it was funny because I'm watching it, and I didn't mean to laugh, but I'm like, well, this would be a very 90s Vince McMahon thing to do to a babyface, to have them go pour their heart out and then go lose a fucking title match.
That could...
I would hope that they're winning because now you look like a huge asshole if they go out and lose this match.
Yeah.
The match was okay. Listen, it's so weird because I literally just watched in 2020 Tamina have one of the best matches she's ever had against Bayley. And yet sometimes in these tag matches, she's still somewhat sloppy. And I'm like, I don't get it. You've been there now for 10 years, and this is still fucking happening. I don't understand it. But, good match overall. We do have new women's tag team champions. And then, of course, on SmackDown, Nikki Ash, because now Tamina and Natalya, for now, revert back to SmackDown.
Back to SmackDown, yep.
For now, the draft, of course, comes up on next Friday. I am deeply, deeply interested in seeing how they do this triple threat women's tag team match. Because to be honest, these are the only 3 tag teams that you got that actually feel like tag teams now, even though they're all put together in very, very weird ways in WWE. You actually have some gold here, WWE. Use it wisely. Nikki Ash beat Natalya, and then Shotzi Blackheart and Tegan Knox came out and proverbially and literally took their shot at the tag team
shot
champions.
over the warning vow there. Definitely. You had to zip right by him.
So there's something really good here if they do this right. So
Yeah, definitely. We got that. And then we had a returning Riddick Moss show up on SmackDown.
So
recovering from an ACL injury that he did have.
it's so weird with Baron. I'm like, Baron Corbin is a guy that
Oh, no,
actually is
Happy Corbin.
Happy Corbin.
Happy Corbin.
Bum ass Corbin. I still prefer bum ass Corbin.
Yeah.
Thank you, Pat McAfee. You angel of commentary.
Yes. Oh, God.
By the way, and I love that on his own podcast, he reveals like they actually tell me nothing. So like every reaction you see is insanely genuine, and he just follows Michael Cole. So every reaction you see is actually insanely genuine because he actually doesn't know what's happening on the show every week.
Well, he just knows it coming out, and then every time
all they tell him backstage is the matches, and apparently Vince just loves his genuine reactions. So
I'm sitting at home and loving his see when Shinsuke comes out and he's friggin' up on the goddamn desk just shaking.
And even like during this segment, he called Happy Corbin bum ass Corbin. I love it. So Corbin comes out with this new. The Happy Show or whatever the fuck he called it.
The Happy Corbin Show.
I like it though. They've given Corbin a direction that I actually like, but I give Corbin a lot of credit. Anything that they've given him, he gives 1,000%.
Yeah, I think they probably did this just kind of. Kevin Owens is going to be his next feud. That's what he's
Kevin
doing.
Owens is the feud. I don't know how Kevin. Right now, the rumor is Kevin's probably going to be leaving when his contract's up in January.
Yeah,
there will be no non-compete clause to January. The contract is just up. I think around my birthday in January, so probably sometime after the Royal Rumble, which happens around my birthday. Yeah, he's probably gone to AEW. Like first thing, he's gone.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can do that feud for this long. I don't know if that's just what they're going to try to do is continue this feud enough for them to maybe, I don't know, give Logan Paul's punk ass a little bit of a contract so he can get his ass whooped by Kevin.
I hope so.
It's a possibility.
Definitely.
But he comes out, he talks about, unlike Kevin's show, I'm not gonna come out and be a Debbie Downer.
I was like, wow.
So my first guest is me. What I love that he did was he literally sat in the guest seat then. Like I said, I give Corbin all the credit in the fucking world. Like, he takes these things, he runs with them, and he's very good at them. I give him a ton of credit. But, of course, after kind of talking and doing the whole video thing, Kevin comes out because now Kevin's ready to whoop his ass, and out of nowhere, he gets attacked by a guy in the hood. Well, the guy, apparently, who's bought into Corbin's weird-ass philosophy is Riddick Moss.
Yep, coming back from an injury.
Now,
which happens.
I am not shocked at this because I had learned before the show, because two of our members went to the show, but one of the PWL members, but one of them had reported that in the dark match, Riddick Moss was in one of the dark matches. They had 5 of them apparently.
Oh wow!
And which is not uncommon. SmackDown, because I've been to a ton of SmackDown tapings in my life. SmackDown usually runs for about 3.5 hours. Because I think Raw now does main event. But now
Yeah.
SmackDown, they actually do a lot of the dark matches. Also, on a side note, because people were like, well, what happened to Davey's son? Davey's son is actually already signed with the company. They're
They're
waiting.
just trying to figure out
They're just trying
what
to
they're
figure
going to
out
do.
what show he's going to be on.
And the
all
draft
that.
is coming
And the
up,
draft
so they're
is
going to
coming
do
up,
that.
So they already know he can go in the ring. I think they're trying to figure out his character, which will probably be some like badass, like technical wrestler character, and they'll kind of go from there with him.
Either he might not be in part of the draft, but he probably could be like a
Apparently
wild card.
Apparently,
that's gonna be
the rumor is he will be a part of the draft. Probably the second night,
Okay.
or either the second night on Raw, or they'll announce him, when they do the whole releases, the names that got drafted on their site and shit like that.
Yeah.
But once the draft is done, he'll be assigned a show. We'll see what they do with him. Riddick looked good here. He looks good as a henchman here. To me, this is actually the best way to kind of build Riddick, because without a tag team partner, he was weird. Like,
Yeah.
without Tito, who's now just out of all wrestling companies.
Yeah.
He's been. I think he's decent in the ring. I don't think he has any mic skills whatsoever. Because remember, he for a short reign, had the 24/7 championship.
Yeah.
And it was just weird because I'm like, he has no mic skills, so he's barely entertaining with it.
Tagging him with,
Putting him with Corbin is not a bad idea.
Corbin, yeah.
It was weird to me. What was weird is they always give Corbin these henchmen for a short time, but with me, I way back when it was Drew McIntyre and Dolph Ziggler. To me, it never fit because I'm like, well, these are two established ass guys. They don't need Corbin.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
In the past, besides by the way, before they fucking let go of the tag team.
Yeah.
When they have Steve and all that with the tag team, I thought that would work. I'm like, you know what? These are two guys that probably need it. It makes Corbin kind of feel the King thing feel a little bit more.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
But then, of course, they just let him go a couple of weeks later and they're massive cuts. WWE is weird to me.
Oh, yes.
Like I tell people online, sometimes I can't explain it and I have to criticize it.
You can't explain it.
Sometimes you can't explain the weird
You just got to
shit
roll
they
with
decide
it.
to do. But this works because this is a way for them to build a guy they like. And to put him with Corbin gives him a chance to learn how to work a crowd. Hopefully maybe learn how to either talk or work with a guy that can actually talk on the mic. Corbin's actually very good on the mic.
Yeah, and I got a feeling he probably is going to stay on SmackDown. I'm guessing it could be, or they're going to move.
I think Corbin is actually keep on SmackDown because it works.
Yeah,
it works. It's very entertaining. There's really no reason.
And if they're going to do a feud with Kevin Owens, I mean, then they got to pull all three of them to Raw.
And there's no point in doing that.
Yeah, they're not.
There's just no point in doing that. So, really cool to see him back. I'm interested in next Friday. The draft, like I said, the draft are actually going to have some huge names. I think switching shows. Like I said, they kind of already given away. I think that Brock's going to go to Raw.
That's what they're saying. Yes.
But then that's weird. It puts what we're about to get to. Extreme Rules.
Yes.
It makes the pay-per-view extremely interesting.
Yeah.
Because right now we all assume Brock is actually facing him for that title in Saudi Arabia, but
maybe not.
Maybe not. But go ahead.
Yeah, and I know. And then I don't know if you saw that, but that new gimmick for NXT.
So yeah,
I thought that was interesting that they did. I watched the promo.
Yeah.
It was a good promo, but kind of weird.
So
I wasn't sure, but where that was going.
Apparently, he's supposed to be making fun of millennials and the safe space stuff and all that.
Yeah.
I didn't find it offensive as a millennial or anything like that. I just thought it weird, and like guys, this is why don't. If you guys want to take over how the show looks for NXT, fine, whatever. But you better still let Sean book this fucking thing. Because when you let fucking Bruce Pritchard and John Laurinaitis get a hold of young talent, they're going to put terrible fucking gimmicks on these guys. Don't
Well,
do that.
The gimmick was like, but they kind of pulled it all off.
And
They're
apparently
gonna,
now
they're gonna scrap it. And
apparently now they're gonna scrap it. He's gonna have a new character in a couple of weeks. We'll see what happens. Vince, I fucking beg you, just let Sean book this damn thing as Triple H recovers at home. Let Sean book this thing. Tell him where you want to go with it. Sean, I'm sure will make it work because he made NXT UK work for a very long time.
Yeah, and I don't think it's too bad. I don't think it's going to help this guy that did the gimmick and everything. I mean, they tried it. There was a little backlash, so they got rid of it. Repackage it and do a little different if he wants to do something similar.
Because if you're going to make
Just
fun
do
of a
that.
generation or anything like that, it's got to. Sometimes what WWE does well is comedy. Sometimes what they do absolutely tragically badly is comedy.
Yes.
And it's just like, because when they let the old guys get involved, it's fucking terrible. And it wasn't funny. Like, the only kind of chuckle I got out of it was he gave Cameron Grimes a hug after Cameron beat him. And I'm like, oh, well, that gave me a chuckle, but it still doesn't make any fucking sense.
That
It's
doesn't
stupid.
make sense. All right. Well, before this goes too much longer,
Sure.
But hey, that's all right. We will get to the lovely Extreme Rules pay-per-view that's going on tonight.
It doesn't have a WrestleMania feel, but to me, this is one of the most intriguing Extreme Rules pay-per-views they've ever done because there's a lot up in the air for the first time in a while.
There's a lot of matter, but the interesting part is I've not heard a lot of Extreme Rule matches stipulations.
Only two of these have stipulations. The Universal Championship match is going to be an Extreme Rules match, and then I believe I could be wrong. I don't know if it's on the paper yet, but I believe the tag match from SmackDown has a street fight. I think they announced it Saturday or something, and maybe I'm wrong.
Oh, well, I just printed this up today, and it never had.
Okay,
it did not have anything.
I thought there was a rumor
so.
that might be a street fight now, but yeah, it's so weird. You have an Extreme Rules pay-per-view, and I thought they said that there was a rumor that maybe Alexa Bliss and Charlotte would get a stipulation tonight, which I was like, well, if they do a stipulation, then they actually might beat Charlotte to protect her.
Yeah,
with
yeah,
their
there's a
stipulation
good
match.
possibility, but yeah, they haven't. They haven't really done anything. They haven't said anything to do with.
Because it's like, dude, it's Extreme Rules. Every match should at least start off with the basis that none of the matches will have DQ. Like,
yeah, and right now they still have the same.
most of them are all regular matches.
Yeah, that's what it's. None of them say anything except.
I
for
mean,
the
triple threats don't have DQ, but whatever.
Well, yeah, that's just like that's like Extreme Rules match for the one. Nothing with Becky Lynch, Charlotte still have nothing on there for anything.
Yeah.
Street Profits right now, they don't have a stipulation, and Liv Morgan, Carmella, which probably will
Be on the pre-show, doesn't
that
it?
should be. I'm guessing that's gonna
That'll
be
be
on the
a pre-show match,
I think
yeah.
that's a pre-show, unless they come up with some other one. But yeah, either me. All right, we will. Let's see. Well, this is
Hell, because they haven't even a match, a WWE Championship match, have they?
no. So they haven't said anything.
Man.
So they might not have one.
That's
It's kind of different.
I literally assumed. I'm like, okay, they'll probably have Bobby. They'll probably do the Bobby Biggie thing tonight because Jeddah's in 2 weeks, and they're supposed to be building probably to Bobby versus Goldberg at Jeddah. So Saudi Arabia. So I just assumed, they'll probably do that to open the night with that, and Goldberg will come out, probably cost Bobby to protect Bobby, and then they'll do the match in Jeddah.
They may still announce, but they haven't announced another.
So
match for
odd.
tonight. It is a little different, yeah. So we got Becky defending against Bianca Belair, the rematch.
So right now, I actually do have this opening the show because
I think so.
I've been waiting for them to announce the WWE Championship match, and they haven't. I think this one will open. There will be a semi-wonky finish, I think, to protect Bianca, but Becky's going to probably retain.
Yeah, I think so too.
This is the one, besides another title match, which we'll get to, that I'm absolutely certain the champion will retain.
Yeah. Next one, we got the triple threat for the United States Championship.
This is the other one. Yeah.
I think Damien's win.
I think Jeff Hardy was literally brought into this match to take the pin.
Yep, I think so too. I think so too.
But you know what? Damien's over. They're really strong on him, which I love.
Oh,
Damien's. I love his promo style because it just comes off as very genuine, and I prefer that to the vampire shit he was trying to do in NXT. And it's gotten him over massively because he just feels like a relatable guy.
With that and him being bilingual,
it helps a lot.
It's because he's talking in Spanish.
Yeah,
and
everything. So
everything.
he'll talk Spanish. He also knows a little German and shit too. But
mostly he's going to do English and Spanish.
Yeah,
I mean, it's great. I'm down. I love Damian Priest.
They gotta end the shit with Sheamus at some point though. But I think this is a way for them to extend the shit with Sheamus probably one more month. Or maybe at least into Jeddah, and then we'll see what happens. Because I think after that, the only pay-per-view after that will be Survivor Series afterwards. So
that will be the next one, yeah.
So, yeah, this is a way for them to probably extend this stuff with Sheamus into going into Saudi Arabia. And I think that it'll end in Saudi Arabia. Because, yeah, Sheamus needs to move on for sure. And Damian Priest should actually be facing some other challengers, Ricochet, some other guys pretty soon here.
Yeah,
this is the other one I'm pretty sure
Yep.
the champion retains.
All right. And then we got the tag team match for the SmackDown Championship. Usos against the Street Profits.
I am 60% on them keeping the championships. Why only 60? Because there is a chance. There is a chance. And I know people will think it's too soon. I don't. Because Roman getting the title back from Finn is actually a better story if he loses to the Demon and then has to get the title back from Finn. Either, Survivor Series or however they decide to do it. But there's also a chance that Roman and his cousins keep their championships, and they try to find a way to get the tag titles on the New Day, so they can do the New Day versus the Bloodline again. Because that, while it kind of had a clean finish, it didn't with Bobby's interference. And that match, of course, is a pay-per-view style match, and I'm sure Vince would love to do it again for Survivor Series. But there's also an intrigue in having Finn go against Big E at Survivor Series. So we'll see what happens. I'm only 60%, which is still solid.
It is solid, yes.
But
More than that, yeah.
I'm 60% on, because also having the Street Profits go against RK Bro would just be fucking great.
Oh, yes,
So-
that would be a lot
The
of fun.
story you could build with those two tag teams would be absolutely phenomenal after what they just did with Montez Ford. So, I'm 60% on the Usos will retain, but the 40% lets you know I would not be surprised if the Street Profits actually won this match.
Yeah, I don't think there's going to be much of a change
Okay.
for a tag team because they're going to keep them on the draft's coming. I don't think it's going to change. They're going to keep them on SmackDown because then that's a possibility that the Street Profits could go back to Raw.
I'm about
It is a
to
possibility.
say they could always do that feud as just a feud on Raw as well. You're absolutely right.
And then they might, because, they might keep New Day together, stuff. And,
I mean, the problem is, though, Raw already has 9 tag teams, which is insane to think about.
yeah.
But they've actually they've found a way to put together 9 tag teams. SmackDown only has 4.
So, most likely, I think Street Profits probably going to stay where they're
I'm about to
at.
say, and my thought is they're going to probably move the Viking Raiders to SmackDown.
Yeah, I
Because
think
then
they've
that
never
gives the-
been there.
Yeah, and that gives the Usos a new tag team, a great tag team feud
Yes.
to
Yeah.
have. So we'll see what happens.
No, definitely. But yeah, no, I think the Usos are gonna pull it off.
And to be honest, I'm more inclined, like I said, 60%. I'm more inclined that the
Yeah.
Usos will retain.
All right, and then Liv Morgan and Carmella.
Like I said, I think it'll be pre-show.
I think it'll be. I'm pulling for Liv
I
because they're
actually-
giving a
I
good
actually
push.
think-
I hope so.
Well, because they just had Carmella cheat her out of a win on SmackDown, so
Oh,
I
yeah.
think Liv is 100% winning. I think now the full push train is behind Liv Morgan.
Yeah, I'm
my
very glad
my
about
only problem with it is you probably need to get Tony Storm now that Rhea Ripley's in the tag division. You probably need to get Tony Storm, and I know it sounds weird, but you probably need to get Tony Storm on the Raw. Because otherwise on SmackDown, you're doing nothing with her. Especially with Naomi now back and the stuff they're looking like they're trying to push with Naomi and Sonya Deville. I think you put... Because right now, Tony Storm, like she's winning matches, so they're putting her over, but she's not really doing anything.
that. No, she hasn't. I mean, the more she has interactions with
And if you're building
with
Liv...
Boogs and stuff, so
And if you're building Liv to probably face Becky at probably like the Royal Rumble, then you probably need to remove Tony Storm from the equation because right now you have her as a babyface again. So,
and that I think that would be a good put her on Raw because one, we don't know when Asuka's coming back.
I think she'll get announced on SmackDown of which show she's going to, which I think will be SmackDown.
Yeah, and no, you think Asuka's
I
going to
think
go on
Asuka's going to go to
SmackDown?
SmackDown
Oh, okay.
because then you have that constant like main event type of woman player that Becky, because they can actually do the Becky Asuka feud now.
Okay,
She's
yeah,
actually, I
yeah.
think she's actually, I think this week they said she would be close to 100% from that surgery she had a few weeks
Yeah.
ago. So yeah, I think she's going to be on SmackDown.
Yeah,
She's
I
going
think
back to SmackDown.
I think Tony Storm going to
Tony
to Raw.
Storm definitely
I
probably
think it'll
should
be
go to
good.
Raw.
That'll be good, and then good transition. Either her going against Charlotte or Alexa Bliss.
Yeah,
one of the two.
exactly,
I mean,
exactly.
but probably more Charlotte than anything.
Like I said, I think they're about to fill the SmackDown Women's division with like the big names. So you won't see a lot of like the Tony Storms and stuff on SmackDown anymore because it's clearly the A show.
Yes.
Anyone
Yeah.
arguing that is out of your mind.
I know Fox wants a bigger rating, so they're trying to get the bigger people on there.
So
you
there's
know.
a good chance. Like I said, and I think it's the next match. So actually, I'll let you actually go ahead and kind of get to it.
Well, the final match of the night, unless they add another one, which they have done, is going to be the Universal Championship,
Or-
Roman against the Demon.
Charlotte Alexa was the match.
Oh yeah,
was
I
gonna
mean,
get to.
sorry, in the Charlotte and Alexa. Sorry,
This is why I actually think Alexa actually is going to go over tonight. By the way, I'm only 50-50 because guess where the pay-per-view is tonight? It's in Columbus, Ohio. Guess where Alexa is from? Columbus, Ohio.
Yeah.
They don't like to let the
no,
hometowns
they
win
don't.
in their hometown.
No, they don't.
But this, especially if you're going to move Charlotte to SmackDown, this is a chance because Alexa, what's nice about Alexa, not just this new character, but the fact that she, Alexa, thank you.
Sorry, yeah.
Bliss.
I forgot about that.
We forgot he actually
We gotta
has.
say, I have one sitting in there, so we gotta say Alexa Bliss.
But yeah, Alexa Bliss you can actually have as a steady champion on Raw. Thank you
Yeah,
for
I
unplugging
think so,
that. That
yes.
would have been a pain in the ass. And she's a believable champion. Very Asuka-like in a sense where it's just like, well, yeah, Alexa's going to be a great champion. Someone who's a believable champion because she's already been a I think she's a 7-time champion as it is.
Something like that.
And the character's really fun. And you can do a lot of cool stuff building the women now on Raw and then still having the tag team stuff back and forth. So I actually believe it's 50-50, and I actually think Alexa goes over in her hometown. But because it's her hometown, I am also not against the fact that I think you're about to say that Charlotte retains.
I hope she doesn't. I hope. I really hope. Alexa Bliss can win. But being her hometown,
WWE does not like to give
Vince does
hometown
not
heroes.
like giving.
I don't know why he's
I
always
have no
done that.
idea.
Now, in this case, Bianca getting beat up in her hometown segment made sense because she's on a feud with the heel. But if you're planning on maybe moving Charlotte to SmackDown to really just have such a strong women's division for Fox, it's still, because you can still make USA happy by just having more women matches. You have 3 freaking hours on Raw.
Yeah,
You better
can
start
get that.
doing something with it. I logically it would make sense to move Charlotte, keep Alexa as a champion, continue to build the other women. You let the strong. If you're talking about moving Charlotte and Asuka there, but here's the thing: after Charlotte, Asuka, Bianca, and Becky, and then of course you add Naomi, Sonya, Natalia, Tegan Nox. So you're looking at about 10. But 2 of those are involved in the tag team division. They won't see a lot of singles matches.
Yeah, that's true.
And then the other 2 are going to be undercard stuff anyway. And then you're trying to build Liv Morgan. Well, if you're going to build Liv Morgan, how about her next feud be against someone like Charlotte?
Yes, it's a good possibility. Yeah, Alexa Bliss, she has 5 championships.
Okay.
She
3-time Raw Women's Champion.
3 Raw, 2 SmackDown,
yeah.
and 2 times she was the tag team champions with Nikki Cross.
See, I always think
it's not too
I always think she had more reigns, but it's because it's funny. While they were building the 4 horsewomen, Alexa had the long reigns.
Yes.
So
Yeah,
she
did.
had the championships for 8-9 months.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And then we do
The Universal Championship.
the Universal Championship. The head of the table against the Demon.
Listen,
They could change the title.
this could change hands.
Yeah.
Because the only way, one thing, before I say what I'm going to say, the one thing I will give Vince McMahon when it comes to this character is he must have loved it enough that he's always protected the character. The Demon has never lost. The last time the Demon lost was NXT. To I believe Samoa Joe.
Yeah.
But Samoa Joe had to give a fucking heroic effort to do it.
Yes.
So
Well, the one person we know could give a heroic effort to beat it would
be Roman Reigns.
Would be Roman. Yes.
Because I think interference weakens the character if it's just an interference finish.
Yes.
Because they've already just shown on SmackDown, well, the Demon can just own the Usos, so it doesn't
Well,
matter.
yes.
And that's a good way to protect the Demon. But, of course, Roman smartly has been super booked as his heel champion. He's got a ton of good, clean finishes. Technically clean finishes.
Yes, technically
He does
clean.
dirty shit in matches, but they're technically clean finishes.
As you say, heels doing heel shit.
Yeah.
Because that's what they got to do.
Exactly. I wouldn't be surprised if Roman retained and pinned him, because I think that's, in a sense, throwing the kitchen, everything but a fucking Titanic-like ship
Yes.
to beat the Demon is the way. And by the way, adding the stipulation was smart. And pinning the Demon is about the only way to really protect him in a loss to me. Like I said, and having 30 minutes where Roman is trying to throw everything at this motherfucker to beat him.
Yeah.
The other way to do it, because it's not technically a match, is have Brock Lesnar interfere. Because then if the Demon wins, even though Brock wants the title, in Brock's head, not having to beat Roman for it, even though he's in the past, in a sense, even though I think the record is actually split, it's 500 apiece.
I think so, yeah.
Or, it's 500. I think it's 6-6 between the two. In his head, well, beating Finn Balor is going to be easier for this championship. So I can just get rid of you in Jeddah. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Roman. as a storyline, to me, makes a lot of sense. Makes a lot of sense. Now, of course, Brock is probably going to Raw, which makes me fear for fucking Big E.
Yes.
Makes me fear for fucking Big E because he just got the championship. And if Brock's going to Raw, you're just like, man, is it just a matter of fucking time? Is it a matter of time? I hope not. Maybe Brock puts him over, you know.
It's possible.
And
yeah,
Big
he
E's
has
a
this,
very well liked guy.
I think we read that like Brock has 8 matches.
8 matches in the 3-year deal, but as many appearances as he wants to make. So him interfering is not him taking one of those matches off. It's just an appearance.
Yes.
Just like when he showed up to New York, that's just an appearance.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm like, it could happen. I'm actually 55. I'm alone in this, but I'm 55% on the Demon actually beating Roman Reigns.
Really?
Because I think there's a more interesting story to tell of a pissed off tribal chief maybe dominating Brock Lesnar and Jeddah and then beating Finn Balor, not the Demon, to get his championship back. So, because then that's still 100. One, you in an interference by Brock, you protect Roman.
Yes.
You still let the Demon look strong because Roman still had to throw the kitchen sink at him and it didn't work. And then when Finn eventually just loses the championship in like a month or something on SmackDown, not a big deal. Not a big deal because you can always put Finn. Like I said to people when he got called up, Finn will now constantly be in the main event scene of SmackDown, and it only makes sense.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
And beating him that way where Finn maybe just loses the championship himself, no problem.
Yeah.
No problem.
I agree with that.
I mean, hell, with Kane, he was at the first time he was a one-day champion. The second time he technically only had it for 3 months. But it can work. Like
Yes,
you
it
can
can.
make it work because you make the monster still look strong. But then when they're kind of humanized a little bit, coming back to being a little bit human and they lose, they're still protected. So, like I said, there's a lot of intrigue in Extreme Rules, which is something I never thought I would say at the beginning of the year.
Yeah, no, I think they got a good chance. And the rumors of Brock going to Raw, yeah, but god damn, it'd be way more fun to keep him on SmackDown.
I actually think the better thought is to keep him on SmackDown.
Because the story between him,
and Roman especially if
and
he costs,
Paul,
him, Roman, Paul, and you can throw Finn into that because people forget. I think it was 2 years ago at it might have been an Extreme Rules pay-per-view. He had an excellent Universal title match with Finn Balor, and he really liked working with Finn Balor.
oh yeah,
So I think there's a lot of story you can come back to with those 3 men, with those 4 men. And then, of course, in the end, Roman getting the championship back, but it's still, even for a short reign, but it still protects Finn. Like, it still protects him as a main eventer that can still go get that championship at any moment.
yeah. Oh no, and Brock always has worked well with smaller guys.
Which
I
is
mean,
odd.
yeah, it's very interesting. But he has some great matches. He's had with Finn, Daniel Bryanson, with
yeah.
Seth.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. I mean, he has some good matches with Roman. Of course.
It